What? America first! America first! What the hell, man? Dude, America first! America first! To all of you, let me explain one damn thing. America, America, America. Dude,
he has to say deathly force because none of the soldiers were actually.
My point is, America's first. America, America, America. What the hell, man? Globalists, no! Goblins, no! This is it. Everybody get ready! America first! America first! Get that through your head! Dude, America first! America first! You heard that before? What? America first! America first! Get that through your head! America first! America first! He trolled him. He baited him. He trolled him. Baited him. He baited him. He trolled him. He baited him. I wish I was that smart. See, that's the Trump dimension. That's the Trump dimension. He trolled him. That's the Trump dimension. He baited him. That's the Trump dimension. He trolled him. That's the Trump dimension. It's incredible. That's the Trump dimension. He trolled him. That's the Trump dimension. He baited him. I wish I was that smart. See, that's the Trump dimension. It's Trump. The plan of Trump. And thus, by extension, Trump. Trump just trolled you. But that's okay. It's Trump. The plan of Trump. And thus, by extension, Trump. I don't want to see him kissing goblins, ingratiating goblins, in bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins, succubus with goblins, ingratiating goblins, in bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins, ingratiating goblins, in bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins, ingratiating goblins, in bed with a goblin. Dump it. Charging into a goblin's nest, some goblin vomit and slop and blood on it. Especially up to his ankles. Trump charging into a goblin's nest, some goblin vomit and slop. Goblin vomit and slop. I'm not expecting him to not get dirty slop. Kissing goblins, ingratiating goblins, succubus with goblins, in bed with a goblin. Kissing goblins, ingratiating goblins. I just want to catch him in bed with a goblin, in bed with a goblin, in bed with a goblin, in bed with a goblin. I just want to catch him in bed with a goblin, bed with a goblin, bed with a goblin, bed with a goblin. And they tell the trendies how the trendies go, rip me off. Get into it. Jump up and down. Going, I mean, that's what we're dealing with here, and I'm sick of it. And we're not getting what humans always thought was key: the bone broth, 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 the bone broth. Well, now it's the next level of that. It's caveman. Hey, I need a glass of caveman. Caveman. Man. It's better than Ovaltine. Better than Ovaltine. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Caveman is just over the top. What in the world? But now with the milk, I was like, whoa, this has milk in it. Whoa. It tastes like good. Man, this tastes so good. Tastes like the best milkshake ever. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. Like good. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like
This is I can say without a doubt, at least in my experience, that this is literally.
This is a super home run available at InfoWarsLife.com, and it supports the broadcast. All right, all the big news straight ahead. Thanks, Buckley. Whoa. You die. Murder government documents. And I walk out, and everybody goes, Albert.
A lot of things these guys could do, make an iron wish.
Getting to kill 1 million Americans. The government lies. You're going to die. No, the thousands of astronauts that died. What's happening in Japan, blowing up the sea. You will line up and they will rope you and your family. Pain, judgment, war, GMO, death, destruction, disease, fire spreading, ants, rotten bodies.
Alex, Alex, Jones! Alex, Alex, Jones! Alex, Alex! And slack! Booga, booga, boop, booga, booga. Keep rolling, rolling.
Government documents. And I walk out and everybody goes, Albert. All my fans
Happy.
Whoa. Why is my shirt off? Whoa. Nazi scum, filth, trash, garbage, smack it. A booga hooga 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 hooga. You're gonna live in a tank and be tied into this virtual world. You'll be able to wire your head in and just get unlimited pleasure. It'll feel like 10 times the best orgasm for 3 days if you want straight. They're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. There's the owners of Truth Frequency Radio. They believe they're communicating with entities. They call them clockwork elves. I'm not going to get into what they're interfacing with. They believe they're in contact with off-world groups. Chris Geo, Truth Frequency Radio, he takes it. You see the elves, little green hats. We're in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We're in trouble. The clockwork elves, all of it, I shouldn't even get into it. There's a reason they're all whacked out of their minds. They're taking DMT. And the point is that their whole science is way ahead. We don't even know what they've got. They're in power because they're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Geo took the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Geo took the DMT. You think they're all a bunch of old men? They're in power because they were into this stuff 70 years ago. The DMT. They were jacking DMT 70 years ago. They were injecting it. They're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Geo took the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Truth Frequency Radio took the DMT. I shouldn't even get into it.
What?
We live in a third-dimensional plane. We can see the planets, the galaxies, the suns, universes. I'm not kidding around. They come here through interdimensional gates that are much closer, through fold space. My dad told me about this when I was a teenager, and I would later go to the library, couldn't find it, and then I Googled it. It's not even really in the news. That they wanted to build a giant artificial system, a supercomputer. All of our thoughts go into it, and we're actually building a computer that has real neurons in real time that's also psychically connected to us, that are organic creatures that control the future. And so there's now a human counter-strike taking place to shut this off before it gets fully into place and to block these systems. And then they envisioned, okay, there's a double helix DNA discovered. Okay, biometrics. Okay, world government. Okay, computers. Okay, atomic weapons. Give me the equation. Well, let's just say we're not in Kansas anymore.
Smoke weed every day.
CNN's going to have me up here all clipped together. I'm in the zeitgeist. So in that zeitgeist, you just kind of see everything.
Right.
Even though you're like just a normal person, you can like look into any avenue, any window. It was compressed data knowledge of one cloth. I didn't do anything. Totally compartmentalized. No one will know because it's all remote activated remote control. It's all remote control. It's crazy, man. Our brain is able to tune into the lowest dimension, the highest dimension. I'm not high. Space-time continuum is like 100 years. It's a second, and we transmit our data to be able to live next to like these Stargate jump gates that are sun. To be alive, we are other dimensions. I used to have a good memory.
Smoke weed every day.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday. I hope you're all doing well today. Can we get gay frogs? Let me see where it is on the playlist.
Just come out of your trance.
Sure.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin'
Hello, Sushi Mom. Commands appear to not be working right now for some reason. I don't know if Twitch is just having an issue or if it's an issue with the auto mod I use. Either way, I use the Streamlabs auto mod. So, here's some links to the bingo card. I'll try and post these regularly during the stream, but if you wanted to play bingo, there's the link. I've been dealing with, I don't know if you guys saw the Twitter post I made earlier about the whole super straight thing, but I've been talking with kind of a big piece of shit about it, and it's upsetting. He basically claimed that I make my entire identity being trans, even though I don't talk about it that often on the stream. I just exist, you know? But okay. Those people are frustrating. There's a different freaking frogs gay thing. Oh, I think this might be the better one. What's a super straight? It's basically a turf right-wing meme that's making fun of trans people and LGBT people in general.
I'm like, shocked by it, so I'm up here bashing it because I don't like gay people. I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Nick Bush YPP says super straight equals SS. Coincidence? It's lit. Hold on. Let me show you the Twitter thing I posted earlier. Oh, Baha made me and her in these things. If you've been on Twitter and you've seen people posting these, there's Baha. And there's a much cuter version of me. I aspire to be that cartoon version of me in real life. Anyway, this is something I pulled from 4chan. The super straight thing started on, I think, TikTok. But then 4chan got a hold of it, and they're using it to radicalize people. So here's the thread. Making this thread before the other one hits the bump limit. Goals. Drive a wedge between the blank, T-slur, and other F-slur groups. Red pill Zoomers. Use the left's tactics against them. Call them bigots for not accepting super straights. Shit post on social media. Hit mainstream status. Zoomer on TikTok makes a new sexuality called super straight, meaning one is only attracted to biological sex, meaning not T-slurs. Countering the T-slur logic that T-slurs are real women. What do? Spam it all over, make memes, retweet SS agents on Twitter, post on every site imaginable. Hate T-slurs for stealing their thunder, I think. Hitching the T-wagon to the LGB train and demanding it run through a quality station all the way to... cover it better, but I get the gist. You get it. And then this person says, don't use the SS symbols. Jesus Christ, you stupid N slurs. This will stop the movement so hard. Stop it, you absolute R slurs. Use safer and F slurrier symbolism to get more. And don't be R slur. Act how they act. This will stop the movement so hard. That's why they are using the first place. Just stick with this. We don't need any designs. It's fine the way it is. This goes for everyone too. Quit it with the different variations and the cringe Nazi shit. If you want this to work, just leave it how it is. You effing R-slurs. You are doing this on purpose to undermine the super straight movement. Give the T-slurs ammunition they can use to make it seem like it's a Nazi thing. They probably already have screenshots of this up on Twitter. I do. I know everyone's desperate to do much OC, but shopping in the fasci symbols is R-slur. You will stop this stone dead R-slurs, saying media will call it a hate symbol anyway. Yes, but after it's spread, you radicalize people by not showing them radical material, but having them agree with reasonable material that is then revealed to be radical. How do T-slurs feel about bisexuals? Because you are R-slurs have already posted it on Twitter, poisoning the well. Any good points that may have been made by using T-slur rhetoric against them is rendered moot because it's all evil Nazi beyond movement. Are you actually R-slur? So if you see this thing, this orange and black flag and the super straight thing, it's a crypto neo-Nazi thing. So just be aware of that, please. The littlest little leafy says, I know you aren't a big fan of your dad, but has the rest of your family been supportive? I'm trying to help my trans sister navigate dealing with our mom, who is shitty. My mom tried to be token accepting, but that didn't work out, and we don't talk anymore either. She was unable to stop dead naming me and misgendering me, and basically went back to my dad, who is a full-on transphobe who refuses to accept I'm trans. So we don't talk anymore. My cousin's nice. My other cousin's also nice, but I don't really talk to anyone else in my family, so. Like, I've talked to my grandparents, but I'm not out to them or anything, because I haven't seen them in, like 2 years almost at this point, because of, like, first of all, they moved to Florida for, like, half the year. But anyway, I haven't seen them in a long time, so they haven't seen me since I started transitioning. So that'll probably be a shock if that happens. What's the point of super straight? It's a way to shit on trans people, basically. It's a multifaceted thing. It's making fun of, like, sexual or gender identities by taking on the form of them without the substance. And secondly, the actual definition, as far as they're concerned, of super straight is basically a straight person who has genital preferences. And I think I've talked about this before. If you have genital preferences, I don't think that makes you a bigot. If someone having a penis or a vagina, like, regardless of their gender identity, just doesn't do it for you, is what it is. I don't think you're a transphobe just for that. But anyway, they're like, we're super straight because I'm attracted to women with vaginas, or the opposite, basically. And they're trying to make it its own sexuality. Nick says, we still love you, Hannah. Thank you. Twitch is doing stuff again. What are they doing? Hold on. Oh, okay, they can cancel subs within 10 minutes. I mean, I'm sure trolls will use it like they'll use anything, but I'm okay with that if someone, like, let's say someone's a really impulsive person, and they gift, like, 50 or 100 subs and they immediately regret it because they can't really afford it. I'd rather them have the option to take it back. That's okay. Yeah. Thanks for the heads up. If I get a bunch of weird chud people gifting subs, I'll know what it is, at least. You could always cancel within 10 minutes? Okay. I didn't know that. It is what it is. I'm glad that there's the option for people who maybe make impulsive decisions. That's good.
Dude, I don't want to see him kissing goblins.
Hold on, I gotta either respond or block the person I'm talking to.
Negotiating
'Cause
goblins.
we're getting into the stream. Everything else is taken, yo. Thanks for subscribing with 10 months.
Succubus with goblins. Ingratiating goblins. In bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins. Ingratiating goblins. In bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins. Ingratiating goblins. In bed with a goblin. Dump it. Charging into a goblin's nest, some goblin vomit and slop and blood on it. Especially up to his ankles. Trump charging into a goblin's nest, some goblin vomit and slop. Goblin vomit and slop. I'm not expecting him to not get dirty slop. Kissing goblins. Ingratiating goblins. Succubus with goblins. In bed with a goblin. Kissing goblins. Ingratiating goblins. I just want to catch him in bed with a goblin. 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 I just want to catch him in bed with a goblin. Bed with a goblin. Bed with a goblin. Bed with a goblin.
I just saw Mixed Gothy Queers on Twitter. Very nice. The art thing. Goblin talking about goblins. Oh, is the bingo card thing working now? Good. The commands weren't working earlier. Are they all working? Hold on. Oh, good. The Streamlabs commands are working now. I gotta do something with my hair. My hair's been looking weird the past week or so. I don't know what's going on with it. Anyway, as always, get your bingo cards ready. The first person to get a bingo wins a gift sub, or can have me gift the gift sub to someone else or a random person. If you want me to do the tinfoil armor, of course, we do hype trains and stuff. Other than that, we have some fun conspiracies to take a look at today. We got a couple new people, I think, because people have been sending me some to take a look at. Why does Alex have no love for the far superior kobolds? I don't know. I guess he just doesn't understand. So we got this guy, Sean Stone, who is a Q person, but also sort of a woo-woo, out there spiritualist type. We have this person who's also, I think, a Q person. We have the Leo King. I'm not very familiar with this, but I think it has to do with, like, astrology and tarot cards and stuff like that. Nathan Thompson and his friends are still at it on their road trip, so we'll take a look there. Anji Z, the guy who believed lemurs didn't exist and didn't understand how dogs work, thinks he's caught NASA in a lie about space existing. A Call for an Uprising just has a new video, and I always like to take a look at A Call for an Uprising's videos on weird symbology stuff. We'll probably get to add some new stuff to the list. If you guys weren't here, we have a list now of any time a conspiracy theorist says some random thing means it's like a secret thing for Cabal members or Freemasons to identify each other. We're putting everything down. So right now, the things that are Freemason symbols are the color orange, the number 33, butterflies, the sun, 5-pointed stars, pyramids, eyes, the colors blue and gold together, the colors black and white together, covering one eye, rock on hand symbol, you know, the woo, rock on thing, and crowns. So if you see any of those things in anything, it's Freemasons, I guess. Doodleburb says, side note, but you look nice today, Hannah. Thank you. MW1642, thanks for subscribing with 10 months. Mike Max 321 says, have you seen the royal family issues and Steven Crowder doing drag? Yes. Steven Crowder sure does like to dress up like a lady. Have you noticed that? What's up with that? I also find it funny that even in the Steven Crowder thing, like, they were nice to him, no one gave a shit. They were like, oh yeah, trans person, that's
what
fine.
we're dealing with here, and I'm
Because it
sick of
is.
it,
And most people,
and we're not
see,
getting
to
what
me, it seems
people
like,
always thought was-
and this is almost hypocritical coming from me because I'm so scared of transphobes and being confronted in the real world that I rarely go out in my preferred clothing. But, like, I really think most people, even transphobes, don't want to get into fights with random strangers in the street. So, I don't know. It's not that trans people don't get harassed. I just think the idea that you're intentionally going to try and go to some place has a ton of other people in it, like whatever fitness place that was. I think it was a Planet Fitness, and expect a bunch of people to shit all over you or whatever. Very strange. The Otaku X says, I'm depressed and scared due to having to see my counselor Thursday, so I'm going to watch Hannah to try and distract me from hating myself. Don't hate yourself, you're wonderful. Thanks for coming, though. I hope it helps. Hoi Polloi asks, so this bingo, if Hannah mentions it, is it a go for the bingo card or does it gotta be in a vid? It has to be in a vid unless it specifically says Hannah says. There's one thing on the bingo card as far as I know that says like Hannah mentions and then it's things. And there's another one that's like Hannah dies of laughter. But other than that, it's gotta be mentioned in the video. The littlest Lil Leaf, thanks for subscribing with 3 months. Appreciate it. No, Daddy Sume, I don't think I will. Alright, what are we gonna start with? Maybe let's start with this guy. I don't feel like... I watched a little bit of this. I don't know if we're gonna get much out of it. I mean, we don't get a lot out of the conspiracy theories other than entertainment value, but even compared to the other conspiracy theorists we typically watch on this show, this guy's pretty out there, so I don't know if we're gonna get too far in this video, but let's give it a shot.
Good morning.
Ugh, that's some ASMR I didn't want today. Ugh.
Is the divine awakening within you? Or is it already awake? The reason for practicing meditation is not simply to clear or to calm the mind by connecting with our breath, to bring ourselves to the moment. It's also to understand that the mind itself is a trickster. The mind is a monster. No matter what avenue you go down, if you search through logic or reason, you will find yourself within a labyrinth.
Sorry, I'm reporting the person I was talking to on Twitter. They ended the conversation pretty much exactly how you'd expect. They were trying to be cordial up until then, but you know. There we go. Sorry. Alright, he's reported and blocked. And now it's out of my mind.
Because the truth ultimately can only exist in the now. And it must be experienced at the level of heart, as a feeling, as a knowing. And this is why the artificial intelligence,
Thank
the
you, Mixed Coffee
computerized
Queer. I appreciate that.
logic,
I gotta find a more energetic video for this guy or else I'm gonna lose my mind. Life on Mars.
All right, the planet to be on.
Of course he watches RT. Why do all the wackadoos watch Russian state media as their preferred source? What's up with that?
Right now is Mars. So much so that several countries have sent rovers to the red planet, including the U.S., where NASA's Perseverance rover just touched down about a week ago. And last night, NASA released some of the first sights and sounds from the Martian surface. Let's listen.
Oh no, it's not just using this as a source. He's on. Oh no! I thought this was just a clip he was going to be using. Nope. They brought this wackadoo on to be a correspondent about Mars for some reason. Why?
Human exploration there. So joining us to discuss this historic milestone is filmmaker, author, and friend of the show, Sean Stone. So Sean,
he's
real
a
quickly,
friend of the
first,
show.
Can we address why space was, once just a two-nation race? It was the U.S. and Russia back in the day, but now here we are in 2021. Now you have China and the UAE in the game. They successfully landed some rovers on Mars just before NASA got to the surface. Why is Mars so hot?
Mars so hot right now.
It's been hot, actually. If you go back to 1901 time period, there was actually a New York Times article about how there seemed to be indications that there were signals coming from Mars. And Nikola Tesla, the famous scientist, actually talked about believing that he was receiving radio signals from Mars, even in that time period. So it's a long history of interest with Mars. The John Carter series, the Princess of Mars series, was from that time period. There's been a long fascination with the planet, so I don't think this is new at all.
Yeah, exactly. It's movies, from black and white movies all the way to everything we're seeing now. It's just Mars has always been that planet, the it planet, if you will. So Percy,
it's because it's the closest planet to the Earth at certain points within its we're both going around the sun in elliptical orbit, so it's gonna vary, but. Ugh.
Is supposed to look for ancient microbial life. So if such microbial evidence exists, what does that mean for Earth? I mean, does that alter what we know of our history and I don't know, put it in a new context?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even the discovery of water on Mars, I feel like it was in my lifetime. I'm pretty sure that they announced, we've found water on Mars, which indicates that they could have had a living system, or some hypothesize actually that there was a nuclear destruction of Mars. There are some physicists and astrophysicists who believe there was nuclear wars on Mars in ancient times.
Why did they bring this guy on for the news? We believe that there were ancient nuclear wars on Mars. Based on what? What are you basing that statement on?
Created this denuded planet. So the idea that there is life would obviously go towards that idea that there could have been even civilizations on Mars even before perhaps Earth civilization. So we can't look at Mars at that point. If we find this life, this evidence of life, we can no longer look at Mars as lacking any possibility of previous civilizations. And also it creates a whole new idea that you can have a much more living universe, right? If there's life on other planets than beyond Earth, which I think most people would believe, but now we can actually prove it. It's a much more living universe.
Yeah, it would certainly, I think, change a lot of perspectives about our history that's easy to read about right now, but I think it would just flip things on its head. Historically, at least in these modern times, especially in films, aliens are little green men, little green creatures. I mean, who's to say that? What if aliens do exist, but they have only in like microbes?
Well, that's the beginning of life, right? I mean, bacteria is a living thing. Anything that's microbial is the basis, right? This is the basic building blocks for life, and then evolutionary processes. As far as again, even finding the microbes, this again just indicates that life can
Does this count as aliens? Sure.
Have existed in the past and can persevere from here. Although Mars is a different atmosphere, it still has an atmosphere.
We'll go over the bingo stuff after the thing, but yes, it also counts as expert gives opinion on field outside of expertise.
Not the same as Earth, obviously, but does have an atmosphere. So you have again this indication that people have pointed out from photographs and other indications that there could have been ancient artifacts indicating a civilization that existed there
let me
many thousands of years ago.
Let me throw this out there. One Israeli, a retired official, his name is Haim Eshed, the former space security chief for Israel, who's now a professor at the University of Michigan, recently...
Oh no! That guy is at the University of Michigan? I heard about that guy, but I didn't know he was working at U of M.
Recently raised a lot of eyebrows with the statements that he made just before the new year in December. He said that aliens do for a fact exist and that President Trump knows this information and that Trump was on the verge of dropping this bombshell. But
how does U of M feel about one of their faculty members saying that? Just curious, because is he tenured? Like, how is he going out and being like, here's a completely crazy, unfounded statement. By the way, I work and represent the University of Michigan.
Held back because of the mass hysteria this would cause. Do you buy that?
He's not the first former minister to say it. Paul Hellyer, the former Canadian minister, said something very similar a few years ago, I think even on RT. I believe it because I've talked to many whistleblowers who've come out over years to say that they have been part of what's called a secret space program.
Oh no, it's Kang and Kodos! Don't blame me. I voted for Kodos.
That basically even Catherine Austin Fitts, a former government official herself, says trillions of dollars that go missing from government funds every year that we know about, right, goes into the secret space program, deep underground bases, and potentially a lot of these UFO craft you're seeing, they're ours. They're not alien. They're actually advanced technology that we've.
I could certainly see UFOs, because the original origin of UFOs in the 40s and the 50s was around the US developing experimental aircraft, both for World War II and after during the Cold War. And people didn't know what they were, so they thought, oh, it's a UFO, but they thought, oh, it's an alien or whatever, but it turned out to be, stealth fighters or whatever. I could see certain UFO sightings in the more modern era also being some sort of technology that we're not aware of. I don't think it would be as mind-blowing as these people tend to think it is. I don't think it's like a sci-fi alien UFO, but I would imagine there's propulsion technologies that are not really known by the general public that are developed by the military. That's cool. That's fine. That's completely different than aliens. And I even believe that there probably is, other life in the universe. I'd find that incredibly... I'd find it unlikely that there isn't other life in the universe. If not today, then at least at some point in the past or some point in the future. The fact that life exists here on Earth and seems to have developed independently means that it probably is developed independently elsewhere. But, the idea that anything has developed and then visited us is just bonkers. That's very unlikely. If it did, that'd be great. I'd love to see the evidence for it. But just you can't just say it. You can't just say it without evidencing that claim.
Reverse engineered from so-called aliens.
Well, yeah, I want to touch on further what Professor Eshed said, that he went on to make claims about a galactic federation and that the U.S.
Oh no! Does he know Elizabeth April? Are they friends?
Government made a pact with them to do experiments here. I mean, it sounds really far-fetched coming, but this is coming from a dude who's a respected general, a learned man. I mean, what do you make of all of that, especially?
And no one who's learned or respected has ever said a lie.
Especially when, America's learned man, Elon Musk.
And they're, the credibility was already at the floor, but we're hitting sub-basement levels at this point. Oh no.
Recently sat down with Joe Rogan and dispels all of that, and he says he doesn't believe it one bit. He says there's no concrete evidence, and given his company's space exploration goals and initiatives that, he's able to contradict everything that Professor Eshed says.
I think he's either being disingenuous or he hasn't looked at the facts, because I know another billionaire named Bigelow who was also involved with satellite work with the government. And
won't someone ask more billionaires? Who gives a shit about actual scientists? I want to hear what billionaires have to say.
Bigelow had a place called Skinwalker Ranch where he was focused on exploring the extra-dimensional and extraterrestrial life, because
Don't name your ranch Skinwalker Ranch. And yes, I understand that it is a reference to George Lucas's property, Skywalker Ranch. But don't name it Skinwalker Ranch. That sounds disgusting.
Skinwalker Ranch in Utah is a very famous location, going back to the Native American culture, of sightings and experiencing. So Bigelow is very much a believer, and he is in that class like Elon Musk, and he, has a totally different perspective. And again, I think if you listen to the whistleblowers and the indications that have come out, even just looking at the videos of so-called UFO craft, that have been shown now on CNN and New York Times and other places, it's very difficult to simply dismiss all this and saying, oh, there is nothing concrete. Well, I guess it depends on how you envision concrete, because this may be
concrete meaning, verifiable and testable, or at the very least something that everyone can basically look at and most people can say, oh, okay, I see this thing. Not, fuzzy footage that no one knows what it is, because that is literally a UFO. Unidentified flying object. That doesn't mean it's an alien.
multidimensional phenomenon.
Yeah, but Sean, doesn't this imply then that there's like this mass conspiracy of people who do know the facts? Let's assume that these are true. It then becomes a mass conspiracy to hide the facts versus not just accepting that it doesn't exist.
Yes, in fact, again, you go to the work of people like Richard Dolan, a wonderful historian who's been documenting the government's knowledge about UFOs.
I know skinwalkers are like a First Peoples thing. Yeah, I've heard about it.
And things like this going back to the World War II era. When you compartmentalize information.
I've heard conspiracy theorists call skinwalkers aliens, which is why I'm sort of divorcing it from the actual myth, to sort of the way I've seen conspiracy theories handle the myth and turn it into an alien thing.
Within a bureaucracy, so-called deep state, so-called secret space program, secrecy is the nature of our government. With that, people understand that president himself only has clearance to a certain level of knowledge and information, because there are factors within the deeper state which goes.
Ooh. First we had the deep state, now we have the deeper state. Next year, wait for the brand new hit movie, The Deepest State.
It's on generationally, right, that knows much more than even those politicians that come out of office.
Yeah, a lot more to uncover here. Wish we had more time. I got to leave it there. Sean Stone, always good to see you, my friend.
I can't believe I have so little respect for RT, and even I didn't expect them to have a lunatic like that on. That's terrible. Let's go to the bingo card. Ooh, I didn't clear it off last time. Hold on. Okay, aliens. The deep state. Expert gives opinion outside of field of expertise. I think that's it. I could be wrong, but I think that's good, right? Someone cites a study from the 18th or 19th century. I'll count that as the Nikolai Tesla thing. And that's it. So mark your cards. I don't think ancient wisdom, and I don't think word salad. I understood what he was saying. It was stupid, but I understood it. The littlest Lil Leafy, thanks for resubscribing. Mike Max says, didn't Alex Jones regret meeting Trump? I don't know. I don't keep up on Alex Jones stuff. Laugh and Wreck Pod, thanks for hosting. Pyromancer says, this guy looks like he wants to become one with that tree. Nick says, is this conspiracy theory or a description of a D&D campaign? Pyromancer says, if you put long pauses between what you say, it makes it sound more profound. True. Mars is hot because it's closer to the sun. Isn't Mars further away from the sun? Wait, no. Mercury... Isn't it Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars? I thought Mars was one further away. Kelly Voicer X, thank you for following. Pseudosapien, thanks for hosting. Andrew Batella says, of course you're making us doubt this guy's credible accounts, you damn reptilian. True. Antipodian Squid says, you know, America's learned man, the South African Elon Musk. Pyromancer, I hear the floors are made with real human skin. Ooh, feel it between my toes. Holt ETR says Skinwalker Ranch is named after skinwalkers, aka Native American shapeshifters. Yeah. Debris Dreams, thanks for following. Pyromancer says Deep State 9. Pyromancer, hot is relative, as is everything. Alley Cat, thanks for resubscribing with 4 months. Sweet. Is there anything else with this guy? I am interested, but I don't know how much I can deal with this dude. Time for the state.
We are in the apocalypse.
What is this?
All right, let's talk about that. We're in the apocalypse, right? Because essentially, we got the virus now, and it's essentially, you know, it hasn't wiped out the planet. I don't think it will, but there's a feeling, there's a mood of an apocalyptic feel, especially in places like California, where they're still locked down and stuff.
Well, we have the most people, you know. I mean, so it's sort of just naturally is going to be that we have the most cases, I would imagine.
Right. I mean.
Wait, did you just say the United States has the most people? The United States does not have the most people. China does.
There's definitely that factor. We have, you know, we're a huge economy, and obviously we have politics are involved, and there's so many things. But in terms of like maybe.
Oh, California, gotcha.
Maybe the timing of the stand.
That's why you got to look at per capita infection rates and death rates.
I guess it's almost fitting.
If there's one concept that I wish I could impart upon everyone all the time, it's the concept of per capita. Because some people don't seem to get it. My dad was a really good example of this. He didn't understand per capita at all. He was trying to make some comment about Chicago or something. And I was like, the per capita murder rate in our city is higher than it is in Chicago. I live in one of the highest like murder rate cities in the country. And he was like, but it's worse to live in Chicago. And I was like, no, it's not. And I tried to explain per capita to him, but because there's more total murders, he thinks it's worse there. But I tried to explain, if there's 10 people in a room and a guy comes in and shoots one of them, and there's 100 people in a room and a guy comes in and shoots 2 of them, which room would you rather be in? And he picked the room with 10 people. So, some people just don't understand per capita, I guess. I don't know.
That it's coming out now, this fall, like 2020. It's like almost as though Destiny was saying, you got to wait 6 years, not because of you, but because of the timeline that we want this story to come out.
The turtle, you know, one of my producing partners, Jill, who's been on this with me for that many years, she always says the turtle's slow because in Stephen King's universe, the turtle's sort of the god that's in it and all that.
Why are we talking about the Dark Tower?
Turtle does what the turtle. So on his back, he holds the earth, I think, is from the Native American mythology.
Oh, did I ever tell you guys about how my dad disagrees with Einstein, too? We were watching a documentary once. This is like the only time I actually sat down and was watching. I used to watch the Science Channel growing up. And one time, my mom was like, we need to have a family thing. We're going to sit and watch something, which didn't happen often. I think the only time was like when American Idol first came out, and then we watched The Office for a while. But then, one time we actually sat down and I picked a show, and it was about, it was about something, I don't know, but Einstein's relativity came up, and it was describing, you know, how Einstein, I don't know if this is a real story or if it's apocryphal, and he just used this to express, like, the idea of relativity, but the idea that, like, being on a bus or a train and moving at a certain speed and imagining, you know, the difference between how it feels in the train and out of the train, and imagining if the train could go at the speed of light, how everything outside would feel like it was standing still or whatever. You know how relativity works. Anyway, my dad was like, no, that's not true. And I was like, what do you mean it's not true? Are you disagreeing with Albert Einstein's theory of relativity? And he's like, yeah, that's dumb. Which I think is a pretty good general summation of my dad's issues. So.
King was kind of drawing on for that kind of being in his work. So we always referred to the turtle with the process and the progress of these projects we tried to do. But yeah, it took many years. It started out as a movie at Warner Brothers. The way that I sort of got that job was I convinced them that, it could be told in a nonlinear fashion, and that would allow us to make it a 3-hour movie or a 2-part movie, something in that ballpark.
Is this guy saying he worked on the Dark Tower movie? Is this guy why the Dark Tower movie sucks? Is my dad a flat earther? Not that I'm aware of, no.
And we went down the road on that for a little bit, and eventually we were able to...
Conservapedia disagrees with the theory of relativity? Oh, Lord. I've been thinking about doing a segment on Chudwatch where we look at Conservapedia articles. Maybe I'll do that later in the week.
Convinced them to let us take it out as a limited series. Brought it to CBS All Access, who were, courageous enough to take on the task of kind of...
The Mightiest Quinn! Thank you for raiding. Welcome, raiders. We're on Tinfoil Tuesday. We're looking at all sorts of crazy conspiracy theories. I think I'm done with this video. This is as good as time as any to sort of get done with that video. Not that interesting, but we'll probably see that guy in the future, but with some more interesting content. So, Nick says, fun fact, oh, I already read that one. Sorry. Pyromancer says, Conservapedia disagrees with reality. As we all know, reality has a left-leaning bias. So this is a different person we've never covered before. His channel's called Health Sanctuary Family, and this video is entitled, When Will Donald Trump Act? Arrests? Justice? Episode 28. This came out February 25th. So let's take a look at what this guy has to say.
Is Trump going to act? When are we going to see public action? When are we going to see justice? When are they going to be mass arrests? When is...
If your idea of justice is installing a fascist dictatorship via military coup for Donald Trump and the Republican Party, that's not justice. That's being a fascist. That's being a fascist. Don't do that.
Trump going to be inaugurated? There's a lot of questions out there surrounding when Trump is going to do certain things, and I'm going to answer all those questions and more. My name is Peter Hanna. This is a Peter's Trump Situation Update. Click on the subscription button on the bottom right corner of the screen.
You can tell the production value's high when you literally just put a subscribe thing right in the back, and it's out of focus on a piece of printer paper. You need a split diopter shot so it's in focus. I learned what a split diopter was once, and now I'll take any opportunity to act like I know something.
So you can stay updated on when my videos come out, and my videos are all about how Trump is winning and defeating the deep state. So let's dive right into it. When is Trump going to act? He has been acting. He's never stopped acting. When are we going to see public action? 75% chance in the next 2 months. It's
75%. That's pretty good. That's a passing grade, okay? That's not bad. That's like a C. C's get degrees. So if the degree is installing a military-led dictatorship, that's not bad. You can get that degree. It'll be terrible for everyone, but 75%. I like that he does throw the 75% number on it, though. Like, even he's aware at some level that he needs to, like, hedge his bets, because if he says 99 or even 95 or 100%, then obviously he's going to be proven wrong, because all this, like, deep state Trump is the secret savior, he's going to come back and do a military coup, all that's nonsense. So he has to sort of be like, I don't know, maybe 2 months.
It's very important.
It kind of sounded like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
50% chance in the next month we have to see some public action. The reason I say this
was posted February 25th, for the record,
is because, first of all, Trump controls the military. We know that because of the previous video I made that showed a law that was passed by Congress that gives Trump control of the military for 60 days after Biden's inauguration, which...
What? You think that Congress passed a law to make someone who isn't the president the commander of the military for 60 days? You literally can't do that. That's the least constitutional thing I've ever heard. The Constitution lays out who has control of the military and the role of the president, and how the president, as commander-in-chief, commands military forces. You can't just write a bill that says, well, this other guy who was the president, he's in charge for 2 more months. You can't do that. You would have to pass a constitutional amendment in order to do that. And that didn't happen. What are you talking about?
Means he would be a very bad strategist if he wasn't acting this whole time. So we know.
And we all know Trump is a great strategist. Let me see, 60 days. So, what is 60 days after January 20th? Can Google do this? Oh, yeah. So, if nothing happens by March 21st, we know Trump is fucked up. Tick-tock. Tick-tock. We're getting there.
You know he's been acting. There has been arrests. There are people who are starting to resign.
At least it's my birthday's before the military coup. My birthday's on the 12th, so that's good.
Public action? Well, the theory goes, my theory is that since Trump will lose control of the military, possibly, but likely, in March 20th, then...
But that's just a theory. A fash theory.
He should use his military might in the next month. It makes sense to do that, but obviously there could be delays. What could delay it? Well, from one of my sources, which I'm debating whether they're accurate or not.
Have they ever been right about anything ever? I'm guessing no.
Trump was going to do a mass arrest scenario during Biden's inauguration, but he didn't because he was threatened with Team Trump was threatened by the deep state with a dead man switch. A dead man switch is when...
We know what a dead man switch is.
The deep state says, or someone says, if you do this action, I'm going to drop a truth bomb or a literal bomb. And so they used technology and clairvoyance, and they were able to find out that...
Oh, he's one of the QAnon people that thinks that Trump can see into the future using a future-telling machine. Good.
There was actually a real threat, and if Trump...
For those who don't know the backstory on this, long ago I covered all the crazy QAnon stuff. There's a certain sect of QAnon believers that believe that Donald Trump had an uncle who got some plans developed by Nikola Tesla. It always comes back to Tesla for these people. For a device called a looking glass that you can use to see into potential futures and basically use technology as a form of looking into the future or potential futures. And they think that Donald Trump has access to this device, which he is using to fight the deep state. Someone asked what I'm drinking. This is Coke Zero.
Trump did arrest people during the inauguration, there was going to be a explosion of a nuclear bomb on the East Coast or the West Coast of the United States. Some people say, why?
But if Trump's in control of the military, how would they do that? The military is in control of the nuclear weapons. So if Trump is in control of the military, how would the deep state do that?
Why haven't we seen public action yet? Trump controls the military. Why don't we see things happening? Arrests, come on. What's with all the delays? In Trump's mind, justice will come. Trump knows he will win. So the detail he's trying to figure out right now is the whole strategy is not on how, is not like whether he'll win or not. Like, he knows he'll win. He has the resources for it. His strategy right now is how to win with the least amount of casualties as possible.
Not no casualties, but he's gonna try and get it as low as possible, okay? Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
And to do that, he has to make sure there are no more dead man switches. The deep state has put bombs under the ocean.
ocean bombs! It's the oxygen destroyer all over again, god damn it.
Put nuclear bombs in certain cities, I'm sure. There's these bombs, dirty bombs, nuclear bombs all over the planet, and Trump's been working.
Oh, not even just in the United States. Donald Trump's gonna save the planet, not just America.
Working over the last 4 years to find these bombs, deactivate them, neutralize them.
Oh, good. Mike Max got my reference. Thank you.
Apparently, I'm betting, I would theorize that not all these bombs were deactivated, because if they were, we would see more military action. Now, some people might be saying, Peter, this video is aiding the enemy. You're giving away Trump's plan. I'm not.
I agree. You've not given away anything that's actually going to happen. Don't worry about it.
Everything I know is stuff the enemy knows. On top of that, the enemy has advanced computers and...
You know, the advanced ones... Trump has a computer that can look into the literal future, but the deep state has advanced computers. They can even play chess, okay? These things, they compute like nobody's business. They got gigs, they got RAM, they got a lot of fans. They water cool, but the fans are also there for some reason. They put 30 solid state drives, and those are in conjunction with some disk drives that they put in the computer for reasons. I know computer things. They took the thermal paste and they put it on the thing. Advanced computing.
Whole teams of people who analyze Trump's moves. The enemy understands.
That's true. Every advanced computer... I feel so called out by the RGB comment. Hold on. This is my keyboard. Hold on, it's kind of hard to see with the light on. This is my keyboard, which is constantly, and that's my mouse. And then my PC is also all lit up on the inside, but you can't really see it from this side because the glass is on the other side. Yes, chat, I'm very called out. Goddamn. Ooh, hype train. We can finally start doing some tinfoil. Nice.
When Trump...
Oh no, mayonnaise is thermal paste? Okay, that's a cleanse for later.
He's gonna act much better than I do. Much better. I'm not giving them any information. Everything I'm giving them is old information. Nothing useful.
So why are you telling anyone? What's the point then?
But
we're at level 1 of the hype train, so I gotta get the headband.
Trump is trying to deactivate all these deadman switches. When they are deactivated, Trump then will, and everything is put into place and ready, Trump will act. That is the real answer. So when will Trump act? When it's safe to act. When it's an opportune time to act.
I'll do these bit messages after the video, by the way, guys. I appreciate it. So anything you guys do, I will read.
Where there'll be the least amount of collateral damage.
Again, not no collateral damage. But he'll do his best, okay? Trump's not perfect. He just has a machine that can see the future. But he's, he's gonna fuck up. There'll be, a couple tens of thousands, maybe a few million casualties. It's fine. That's why he let COVID go rampant. The more people die of COVID, the fewer would be collateral damage in his war with the deep state.
Will we see mass arrest?
Level 3 complete. Nice. We might actually get to level 5 today.
I think there's like a 90% chance we'll see it over the course of this year, which is very exciting. And when is Trump going to be inaugurated? Very likely either March or April.
Ooh, March or April. Again, I'm glad. It's nice when people just pull numbers right out of their butts, huh? Ooh, wowzers. Oh my goodness, Pyromancer, 25 gift subs? Jesus Christ. Thank you.
I would give that a 75% chance, as I explained in my previous video. Why? When will we see justice? That's kind of a broad question, but when will we see justice?
Bless you.
Sorry about that. When will we see justice? Justice is coming. Don't worry.
The justice was the friends we made along the way. 392% of the hype train so far.
When? Well, how do you define justice? When will all the Satanists be executed? Probably over the course of the next 15 years.
It's not a day of the rope, it's a decade and a half of the rope. Jesus Christ. Don't worry, we'll systematically purge people who have religious opinions we disagree with, and that'll be good, you know? That's alright, right? People love when that happens. History is definitely not rife with stories of people being persecuted for their religious beliefs. Yeah, I don't know how this is still on YouTube either.
I would guess. I don't know for
yeah,
sure.
400% of the hype train so far. We're killing it today.
A lot of power.
Thanks,
so
chat.
It's gonna take time for sure. This satanic death cult has been controlling Earth for hundreds, if not thousands of years. It's not going to be like an overnight victory like you see in the movies. It's going to take a long time. So if you define justice that way, it's going to be like 15 years. If you define justice as when will the main people be arrested, like some of the biggest big dogs will be arrested and executed, and Trump will become president, and we'll start to see the country recover and get better, I think that's going to happen over the course of the next 2 years. I do know that there is a lot of pressure on Team Trump to act, but he has to be very careful when he acts. Obviously, in my mind, it's so obvious that Trump wants to act as soon as possible, because the later he waits, potentially the more damage can be done. I use this analogy that I was thinking about. Biden, whoever sits in the White House and has full presidential power, including the military, is kind of at the heart of the country. And
they're the president.
The United States had a big heart. And Obama did 8 years of damage to the heart of the country.
How did Obama, and again, I disagree with a bunch of shit Obama did. He was a milquetoast centrist who caved to Republicans and continued international military action that was unnecessary. However, he's not some, like, deep state Satanist thing, whatever they think. I can never get the bangs right when I do stuff like this. Gosh darn it. There we go. I think that's pretty good. A little bit of cyberpunk tinfoil, eh? Minute left on the hype train.
And he isn't in the White House. He's in a fake studio in Castle Rock, California. You can YouTube that. There's a lot of evidence for it.
No, there isn't. The Castle Rock thing comes from a bunch of people completely misinterpreting all sorts of pictures. It's very funny.
Biden does have some presidential power. As we have seen, no one can deny he has some presidential power. And
the goalposts are shifting. Now that Biden has clearly signed executive orders and done certain executive actions and signed bills and stuff, they have to admit that he has at least some presidential power. At what point does it become full presidential power? Oh, I guess March 21st, according to him.
People are following his orders, and Biden is doing damage. One example is how he raised the price of insulin for people with diabetes. So, plus the jobs that are being lost and how many horrible things are happening.
Which jobs are being lost, other than the Keystone Pipeline, which should not have been happening anyway? And those people didn't lose their jobs, by the way. They were contractors building a pipeline. They're moving on to their next job. Other than those people, who is losing their job?
With the whole, like, mask mandates and everything, like, Biden is doing damage. But the way, the analogy I would use...
People losing their jobs because of coronavirus is a direct result of inaction through Donald Trump. If you're mad at people losing their jobs over lockdowns and coronavirus, it's Donald Trump's fault. Because he completely ignored the problem for months and said it's not a big deal, it'll be gone soon, one day it'll magically disappear. He's an ass. He killed 500,000 people.
That Biden is, since he's not doesn't have full presidential power, he's not inside the heart of the country. He's kind of like outside the heart. Imagine the heart is the most vulnerable part of the country. And you could use, and being in the heart could destroy the country or also strengthen it. He's right outside the heart, hitting the heart with it like a piñata, beating it. Biden continues to do damage.
Him and Corn Pop. He called up the Corn Pop, and he's like, Corn Pop, I need you to get back here. We're going to destroy America. And Corn Pop's like, all right, I guess.
Hitting the heart of the country, doing damage from that in that position of power that he has. Over the next 18 months, we could lose our country for our lifetime. It'll be over. If Trump doesn't act or do anything major in the next 18 months, we will lose our country for sure. But it's not going to happen because Trump knows this. Trump knows what's at stake. He knows that billions of people will die if he doesn't act. And he knows that every day that goes by, Biden is doing more damage to the country. So he is pressured to act, but he's always thinking, okay, if I act this month, Biden will do this much damage to the country. Maybe there'll be like 5,000 deaths from all the damage he's done, right? But if I act this month and before he does damage and kills like 5,000 lives and costs like a million jobs or something like that, if I act this month and they activated a dead man switch and blew off a nuclear bomb that kills like 40 million people and radiates and destroys a quarter of the country.
How big of a nuclear bomb does he think they have? Even Tsar bomb. Hold on. Nuke simulator. Okay, to be clear, this is obviously, for demonstration purposes to point out that it doesn't even make sense what he's saying. If I'm the Cabal, which I am not, the Cabal doesn't exist. And I'm like, okay, I gotta dead man switch this. Okay? I put the nuke under, you know what, we're gonna be dramatic about it, okay? Can I do Central Park? Is that something I can do? I mean, I could just probably... I'll stick it in Central Park right here, okay? It's under the lake in Central Park, because this is a movie, and this is what you choose to do in the movie, so it's dramatic, and someone has to go underwater in Central Park and stop the bomb. Under Trump Tower. Where's Trump Tower? That's a good point. If it was a movie, they would put it in Trump Tower. I don't know where roughly in New York is it? Does anyone know? I don't know anything about New York or where Trump Tower is. Anyone? Bueller? I know it's in Manhattan. I'm already in Manhattan. What I'm asking for is like, southwest corner of Central Park. Okay. Is it in Midtown? Around here somewhere? Well, we'll say here. Fuck it. I don't even know if it is. 5th and 59. That doesn't help me. I don't know the grid system in New York. Other side, up here. It's not going to matter. It's going to destroy everything. It's going to be a giant nuclear bomb, but... Oh, on the other side of the bottom, this side right here. Great. Let's go here. Good enough. Okay? And we're going to do... Let's see. This is the largest bomb that the USSR ever designed. I don't think this one is actually made. They made a smaller one that was about half. But this is our bomba, okay? This is 100 megatons. Let's see how big this is. Boop. Now, look. This is terrible. This would kill... Let's see what the death toll is, according to this. Okay? This usually has death tolls, I think. Doesn't it? It didn't. That's a shame. Either way, this would kill millions and millions of people. It would destroy the entirety of New York City. But that's not a quarter of the country, you know? Just saying. Like, that's terrible. It would be the worst terrorist attack to happen on U.S. soil ever. But his claim about it is not exactly how it would work. You have to click casualties. Oh, there we go. Let's do it again. And Fallout. Boop. There we go. Estimated fatalities, 8,123,020. 6 million injuries. So there you go. No bueno. That's not a quarter of the country, though.
It's not worth it to act now because you're saving 5,000 lives and 1 million jobs, but 40 million...
Even if it is 20 million people, that's not a quarter of the country.
And people are going to die, and the country, a quarter of the country will be destroyed. So, is it worth it to act this month? No. Just wait. He knows Biden's doing damage. He sees the damage. I mean, these people, they have a quantum computer.
He knows the word quantum, and he knows that there are quantum computers. If you asked this guy what a... Hold on. I'm getting hot. I gotta open this window again. I hate opening that because I don't want my neighbors to hear me ranting about the crazy things that I talk about on this show. But I'm very, very warm in this jacket. I don't know if you guys know this. Reflective materials, pretty good insulators. I regret making this a thing because I am so fucking hot. I gotta get a fan or something to put in here when I do Tinfoil Tuesday. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying. Shit.
You have thousands of strategists working with Trump.
Oh, quantum computers. I wonder if you asked him what a quantum computer does or what it's for, how he would respond. He just knows they're really, really good computers.
They're looking for the opportune time to act, and they will act. And believe me, they want to act. Like, I see posts often like, Trump, act today, arrest them today. Obviously, he's not going to be motivated by these posts. He's only motivated by keeping the country safe, keeping people's lives, saving their lives, keeping their lives safe. So he will act. He will act. We'll see different levels of action. We'll probably see inauguration in the next 2 months. We'll see some big military action in the next 2 months. We'll see mass arrests over the course of the year. And we'll see about 50% of the job of taking down all these evil people should be done over the next 2 years. 50% of the fight will be won over the next 2 years, which is very exciting. So, and we're just 2 months away from Trump being inaugurated. Maybe if he gets inaugurated on March 4th, then we're just a few days away, maybe like a week away. So we have a lot to be excited about, and there's great things happening. We will see action soon. I understand that there's been a lot of postponing dates and moving dates. The reason for this, it's all part of a strategy where Trump feints, he pretends like he's going to act on a certain date, and then the deep state, basically, they scramble to react in a way that counters Trump's action, and then they end up messing up and expending their ammunition in a way they didn't want to. Ammunition is just stuff that they plan to do to counteract Trump's moves, and they have a certain amount of things they can do to counter Trump's moves. But once they do all those things, they run out of resources. And so Trump's been expending all their...
But Trump could also run out of resources, right? In this analogy, or in this explanation, both parties could run out of ammunition if we're talking about this fantasy world that you've concocted or pulled from 8chan or whatever.
Ammunition. And so once a lot of, or most of, probably most of their ammunition has been expended and there is no danger left, we will see action. And so we have a lot to be excited for. I apologize. Today I'm a little slow. I'm a little down. I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. So much pain. Luckily my kratom's arriving any minute now, so I'll be sharper tomorrow and I'll be better. I do want to make good videos for you guys that you're very excited about.
That makes me sad that he's actually in pain.
I hope this video answers your questions. Actions are coming. Justice is coming. And we have a lot to be excited for. These next few weeks should be very exciting. Next 2 months should definitely be very exciting. And Trump knows he has to act as soon as possible after the dead man switches are taken care of. I don't see any other reason why he would delay action other than...
Let me give you a hint, okay? If you can't imagine any other reason, let me help you out. Because all of this QAnon stuff is a load of horse shit, and you've fallen for a lie. I know that's sad. I know it's sad to admit that you're wrong. But you're wrong. You're so wrong.
Threats from the deep state. Why else would he delay actions? Other than maybe he's waiting for certain people to be in certain locations. It's possible. But things are going to happen. We're very excited. I'm very excited. If nothing happens for the next 18 months, like nothing, I'm giving up at that point. That's like...
We're going to be keeping up with this guy for the next 18 months if his channel doesn't get deleted.
Where I draw the line, I'm like, oh, okay, let's buy a doomsday bunker, you know? But we'll see action. I trust Trump. I know Trump has a plan. I know God has a plan. Everything's going to be great. So we have a lot to be excited for. Let's stay hopeful. Let's be excited. Let's be happy. Hope this answers your questions, keeps you guys informed so you can stay prepared. We have a lot of great things to look forward to. Thank you, everyone, so much, and have a wonderful day.
Hoo boy. We gotta take a look at some of his other stuff.
I'm very excited to share with all of you 5 pieces of evidence that seem to be pointing to Trump being inaugurated and becoming president next month in March, specifically March 4th.
Hold on, today's the 9th. Damn! Sleepy Joe got him again.
And the most exciting piece of evidence I have to share with you is something I learned recently from one of my supporters who showed me that there is a law that gives Trump control of the military for 60 days after Biden's inauguration, which means March 20th. In other words, Trump has legally, I have bombshell, irrefutable evidence, proof that no one can deny.
Yeah, he's higher energy because he hadn't been proven wrong again by the time this video came out.
Trump.
Actually, you know what? No, the other video was only on the 25th, so I don't know why he was so sad on the 25th. He hasn't posted a video since the 25th. So maybe he's not doing so well since his prediction came wrong about, you know, the Trump thing, the March 4th thing.
Does have control of the military for at least until March 20th. And I'm so excited to share that with you guys because it confirms a lot of stuff I've been saying on my YouTube channel. Be excited, guys. This is a very exciting video. My name is Peter Hanna. This is a Peter's Trump Situation Update. Please click on the subscription button on the bottom right corner of the screen so you can stay updated on when my videos get posted. All right, let's dive right into it. The first piece of evidence.
Oh, no. He's another one of these people that just films his computer screen. Guys, Streamlabs OBS is free. It's free. You don't have to stream with it. You can just record. You don't need to film your computer screen like it's 2003. Please, people, learn to screen capture.
This is the one I'm most excited about sharing with you guys. This person said, go to congress.gov, which is a government website, so we know it's official. Search for S.394 Presidential Transition Enhancement Act of 2019. This is something that was passed into law, and this image breaks down what this law does. It says, according to this legislation, which was passed by Congress, President Trump retains control of the military until 60 days after the inauguration of a new president.
Now I gotta go read a goddamn bill, if it even exists, just to show this is stupid. Why did I pick this as a job? Presidential Transition Enhancement Act of 2019. How long is this bill gonna be? The bill makes changes intended to smooth the transfer of executive power during presidential this is a summary, obviously not the text of the bill. The bill provides for the detailing of legislative branch employees on a reimbursable basis to office staffs designated by the president-elect or vice president-elect with the consent of the supervising members of Congress. The bill extends support provided by the General Service Administration to the president and vice president-elect for up to 60 days after inauguration. By September 1st of a year during which a presidential election occurs, the GSA shall enter into memorandum of understanding with each eligible candidate, which shall include the conditions for administrative support, service, and facilities to the maximum extent practicable. An MOU shall be based on MOUs. Can I just get the text of the bill? Oh, boy. Let me see if we can just find 60 days on here by Control F. I don't know if the standard is to, like, write out 60 or if it's to use the number 60. So let's find out. All this, okay. Okay. In connection with any obligation incurred by the president-elect or vice president-elect or after the inauguration of the president-elect as a president and the inauguration of the vice president-elect as vice president incurred by the president or vice president during this period, A, beginning on the day after the date of the general elections held to determine the electors of the president or the vice president under Section 1 or 2, Title 3, United States Code, and ending on the date that is 60 days after the date of such inauguration, and without regard to whether president-elect, vice president, president, or vice president submits to the administrator a request for payment regarding services and facilities before the end of such a period, in subsection H2BII, by striking computers and inserting information technology and by adding the end of the following. Memorandum of Understanding. In general, not later than September 1st of a year during which a presidential election occurs, the administrator shall, to the maximum extent practicable, enter into Memorandum of Understanding with the Yeah, no, that's not about the military. This is about transition and how the organization in the executive branch of the government that deals with transition, basically it's things that they need to do within 60 days. Let me try spelling out 60 to see if it's another one. 60? No, there's none. So I have no idea where this guy is getting that information. His friend basically just sent him this, I'm guessing, that says, according to this legislation, this says this. But I'm guessing he didn't actually read the text, because nowhere in this text does it say the previous president or Donald Trump in specific maintains control of the military for 60 days. Of course it doesn't. That's batshit insane. But I just wanted to point that out in the text of the actual document, so you know that I'm, not just saying, no, you. It doesn't say that.
The full transition of power does not occur until March, specifically March 20th, which reflects what is...
Oh, I understand what he's misunderstanding. Okay, the bill extended the period of time through which the current administration, being the Biden administration, has access to resources from the transition team. It doesn't mean that Trump is still the president. It means that the resources that are typically given under a certain period or historically have been given to the incoming administration under a certain period, because this was part of the summary of the bill even, they had only been granted access to funds and resources from that department for a certain period of time during the transition. This bill extended that period of time that is considered the transition period, so they have those resources up until March 21st. That does not say that President Trump is still in charge in any way, shape, or form.
Actually written in the U.S. Constitution, meaning right now Biden does not have command of the military. In other words, patriots are in control, and this proves it. So
No, it doesn't. Why don't you actually read the thing? Probably. Okay, here's the thing, and I'm just going to say this outright. Bills are fucking hard to read, right? Like, this is a pain in the ass, even for me, and I think I have pretty good reading comprehension. You guys have heard me read. I skip over my words, but I think I read relatively quickly and I'm able to absorb the information that's in documents. But even I, when I read something like this, kind of have to parse it in my head a little more than your typical something written for your average audience. But, like, do these people not understand this, or at least are they unable to understand the summary? Because the summary lays it out relatively clearly, right? It extends support provided by the General Service Administration to the president and vice president-elect for up to 60 days after the inauguration. That doesn't mean they're not the president and vice president during that extra 60 days. It's just providing them those resources longer. Like, you just gotta read it with your eyeballs, and then take the visual information and decode it in your brain.
This is huge, guys. This is very, very exciting, because now it's no more theory and hearsay. Does Trump control the military? Does he not? Is there evidence of it? Yes, there is evidence. Trump controls the military. Now, this could be a photoshopped images, so I just want to do...
I mean, this isn't the text of the bill. This is just something someone threw together to post on 4chan or something. This is like a Facebook tier meme that someone made that's just a complete lie. What do you mean you don't know if it's photoshopped? This is something someone made as an image macro to share around to other Q loonies.
Do my research and double check that this is real. Here we have official government website. No one can deny this is directly coming from the government. Here we can see that this
is a thing people like, not only QAnon people, but other conspiracy theorists too. They'll obfuscate and they'll say things like, look, this is on an official government website, and then they'll point to that is a real bill that's on a government website, but then they'll completely misrepresent the contents of said thing, so it looks like they're sourcing a claim when actually the actual source they have provided does not back up the claim they are making. It makes them appear legitimate to people who don't actually take the time to go look at the text of what they're citing. It's an interesting rhetorical technique. It's a lie and it's bad, but it works because a lot of people don't take the time to go and look at something, especially if it confirms something that they already previously believed. Confirmation bias. It's very interesting.
Presidential Transition Enhancement Act of 2019 became law. No one can deny that. This is a law.
It is. And it is a law, but it's not a law that says the thing you say it says.
Click on these, what you get is this part of the bill. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I understand legal jargon very well. I don't understand legal jargon, so there could be another part of this bill that explains how he has control of the military. I did read through it, and from my understanding...
He's even showing the text. This is the summary. The bill would clarify the responsibilities of the General Services Administration during a transition by requiring a memorandum of understanding between the agency and the presidential transition team. Finally, the bill would allow the GSA to provide transition services for up to 60 days after the inauguration. These provisions would help ensure smoother transitions than we have had in the past. I am very glad this is a bipartisan bill. The Senate approved this bill without any opposition. The peaceful transition of power from one party to another is a cornerstone of our democratic system. We must do all we can to ensure the integrity of that process. So it was a bipartisan bill just to extend the period of time in which the transitioning team can, or the transitioning administration can get resources for said transition. This is not, what does he think this means?
I think the part of the bill that gives Trump...
Do I think this dude is Dunning-Kruger or bad faith Dunning-Kruger? Based on hearing him speak, that's just, you know, my vibe, so it's not evidence or anything, but it feels like he's a true believer.
Control the military for 60...
I also haven't seen him try and sell anything, and that's usually a grifter thing on every video. They'd be like, dude, buy this, you know? Come to my website with a subscription or whatever, but he hasn't. I think he's just really into this.
Days after Biden's inauguration is this paragraph right here. The bill would clarify the responsibility of the General Services Administration during a transition by requiring a memorandum of understanding between the agency and the presidential transition team. Finally, the bill would allow GSA to provide transition services for up to 60 days after inauguration. My understanding, what I think this means is that Trump legally can transfer the full presidential power to Biden over the course of 60 days.
What? Where is he getting that? That's not at all what that says. The transition of power happens at noon, January 20th. This is saying that they have access to funds and resources from the department that deals with transitioning and helps out the administration transfer from one administration to the next. Biden had the presidential power January 20th at noon.
Meaning he can hold on to full military power for 60 days after the Biden administration, which is confirming the main thing I've been saying on my YouTube channel, that Trump will be inaugurated this year because he controls the military and he has enough power to arrest all the people who have committed treason. So this is very exciting. Not only is this evidence that Trump will be inaugurated in March, this is also evidence that Trump has control of the military. This is the big boom, guys. This is big news. I mean, thank you so much for the person who sent me this. I did not find this by myself. Extra credit goes to her. She did a great job sending this to me. Thank you so much. So this is the first piece of evidence that Trump will be inaugurated in March, and
I gotta get one of those stream decks so it's easier for me to go from camera to camera.
Evidence is basically that he does control the military, but his control of the military ends in March 20th, so he has to act in March, which is basically the month that many people expect him to be inaugurated. Second piece of evidence is right here. Until the ratification of the 20th Amendment in 1933, the official date for presidential inauguration was March 4th. In other words, when the United States was a country, the inauguration date was March 4th. When the United States was switched from a country to a corporation, the inauguration day was changed to January 20th.
No, the country did not switch from a country to a corporation. It's a country.
Now that, since a lot of us believe that Trump switched, as I showed in my previous video, there's evidence of it, Trump switched the United States from being a corporation back to a country.
That's basically sovereign citizen bullshit. Yeah, Redmond Barry gets it.
Official inauguration should be March 4th. So, this is evidence number 2, that if Trump is going to be inaugurated March 4th...
The transition, or the inauguration used to happen on March 4th because, again, the country used to... I wanted to say used to be bigger, but not really. Transportation used to take longer. Information used to take longer to get from place to place. You relied on either the postal service, or if it was later, you had to deal with, like... why can't I think of them? Telegraphs and stuff like that to get information from place to place. So the transition took longer. You had to get people from all around the country, if they want to be part of your administration, to come and plan. You need to get your stuff and pack it up and go and move to Washington. It's a whole pain in the ass, and it used to take a lot longer because we didn't have access to, trains and planes and automobiles and other John Hughes comedies. But you get the idea. So eventually they moved the transition date back to January because it was, easier to get there and didn't take as much time. Honestly, they could even probably pull it back a little bit nowadays, but I get it. You need time to transition.
Has to be the date. Has to be the date. Now let's look at evidence number 3. The National Guards are expected to leave the Capitol in March 12th. Now, we were told that the National Guards are staying for the inauguration. Could it be that they're not just staying for Biden's inauguration, but they're also staying for Trump's inauguration?
No, they were staying for Biden's inauguration because you people tried to, kill members of Congress.
That would be so exciting. Can you imagine? Now, this is March 12th. It's not specifically March 4th. Maybe they have to stay for a few days after inauguration. Maybe the inauguration has been delayed and he has to stay until March 8th. I do believe that Trump controls the National Guard. He has commanded them to stay until D.C. until March 12th. I don't see why they would keep the guard there. There's D.C. police. There's enough to protect all the politicians. Biden is not in Washington, D.C. He is in a fake studio set used for movies in Castle Rock, California. I'll make a video about that later.
No, he's in the White House. Sorry. Ugh.
So why would they stay? Not to protect Biden, because he's not in D.C. To protect the politicians? No, there's the D.C. police for that. So why are they staying until March 12th? This is the third piece of evidence that's pointing to March.
And the D.C. police did such a crackerjack job on the 6th.
Why March? Why March? And here comes piece of evidence number 4. Trump's D.C. hotel is hiking prices for March 4th, which, again...
Yeah, it was because they expected a bunch of Trump followers to come and, do weird stuff because of this conspiracy.
is the day that a lot of people believe Trump will
Hotel prices go up based on demand.
be inaugurated. Now, the actual hiking of prices, I looked online at his website. It's something along the lines of as an example, one room costs like $300, and then for March 4th, the same room costs $1,200, which is a quadrupling of price. Why would he be raising the prices? If nothing exciting was happening March 4th, why would he raise the prices? It doesn't make sense. So
because people are probably trying to book hotel rooms because they're crazy, because they think Trump is going to be inaugurated. It's a feedback loop.
we have 4 pieces of evidence that are pointing to March 4th, and I'm leaving one of the best ones for last. So, as we saw from this thing, the last time that someone was inaugurated as president on March 4th was 1933. If you go to the official Trump message board and go to message 19333, I know I'm speaking weird because it's for my YouTube channel. I'm trying to protect my YouTube channel. The message says, suicide weekend, hands up, 30 in bracket, 28 in bracket, impossible coincidence, we are in control, big week ahead. Now, this was a conversation on a forum, and this guy was saying, look, this message 1933, which was coincidentally is the same year that the last person was inaugurated, last president was inaugurated, with March 4th. It just so happens that this post is referencing March 4th. And the guy's like, how does that point to the date you're talking about? And so he explains it, right? He breaks down this message for us. The 30 is 30 months from the date it was posted, which puts us at February 26, 2020. So, in other words, this 30 here means 30 months. 30 months from when this post, 1933 post, was posted. 30 months after this post is landing on this date, February 26, 2021.
That's numerology as evidence on the bingo card.
The 28, what does that mean? 28 is confirming the 30 by pointing out that it's a month with 28 days. There's only one month in the whole year with 28 days. It's February. Hands up, suicide weekend. What does that mean? That indicates there could be very public arrests going on, and some would rather do themselves in. In other words, hands up, people put their hands up when they're going to be arrested. And suicide weekend is referencing that some people won't want to be arrested. They want to commit suicide. So
it's like the end of a Neil Breen movie.
More evidence. And then what does big week ahead mean? Well, how many days are there in a week? 7. So let's count from February 26th over and see what 7 days after February, 7 days including February 26th. Let's see what that is. What we have here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Big week ahead. Big week, 7 days. A week is 7 days. And 7 days after 7 days, if you including February 26th, lands exactly on March 4th. In 1933, FDR was the last president to be inaugurated on March 4th. How many coincidences before it becomes mathematically impossible? That's something I'm asking.
You're connecting dots where there are none. That's the problem. Is you're looking at a cloud and seeing an elephant where one doesn't exist. You're interpreting things that you want to see because human beings are very good at that. And I understand it. I actually feel bad because this is a lot of the Q people we cover on this channel tend to be a little older, tend to be, not always, but, 30s, 40s, like late 30s to 40s, if not older. They tend to be, angry, and clearly their life hasn't gone very well, and they're trying to cope with that in some way, and I think QAnon is a way for them to sort of deal with that, and sort of lay blame why my life hasn't gone right. Oh, it's not my fault, it's because everything's wrong, because this cabal is in charge of the world, and they're making it hard for everyone, and yada, yada, yada. But this guy is on the younger end of QAnon people we've dealt with, and I think he genuinely just wants to believe this. I don't know what his particular reason is, but I feel bad. I feel like this guy could actually maybe be pulled back at some point. You know what I mean?
Asking you guys, how many coincidences?
30 years old, I'm 39. I know. I'm almost 27. Sorry.
Before it becomes mathematically impossible. Here we have
5 pieces
I just meant older relative to how old this guy looks, who looks like he's maybe in his mid-20s to late 20s. I don't know.
evidence that seems to be pointing to Trump being inaugurated in March. Could it be March 4th? Could it be March 8th? Could it be before March 12th? Could it be before maybe March 19th? Because that's when he'll lose control of the military. Let me make sure this is in focus. So this is very exciting because we finally have hardcore evidence that Trump does command the military. But
that wasn't hardcore evidence. It was speculation based on numbers. And it was a misreading of a bill.
From my understanding, Trump, from what I heard, Trump controls the military. My understanding is he controlled the military because supposedly, allegedly, he signed an executive order that made himself commander-in-chief, and that's why he controlled the military. Maybe this is true.
Weird, no one's ever thought of that before. I'm just gonna sign an executive order that says I'm president for life. Ha ha, take that, America.
And maybe he's using that in conjunction with this other law. Or maybe that is just false information or incorrect. If that's the case, it doesn't matter because Trump still controls the military using this law until March 20th, which is enough time to arrest the people who committed treason and make himself inaugurated in March. Now, if looking at these 5 pieces of evidence, 3 of them point directly at March 4th, 2 point to March in general. So, what does that mean? Well, it means that, in my opinion, there's a 30% chance Trump will be inaugurated in March.
Issues. I'm having like
4th.
tooth
Why
pain.
is that number not higher? Why is it not more than 30%? Well, because I haven't seen enough military action to increase the number above 30%. Now, why is that number so high? Well, 30% chance that Trump will be inaugurated March 4th, that's a high number because of 5 pieces of evidence that seem to be pointing directly at March, and 3 of them are pointing directly at March 4th. So unless plans have changed significantly, it seems to be March 4th. Now, what are the chances Trump will be inaugurated in March, period? I'm talking like March 15th or March 19th or just March, any day in March. Especially before March 20th or on March 20th. What are the chances Trump will be inaugurated in March? I would give that a 50% chance because...
50%?
Here we have 5 pieces of evidence pointing...
It's going up, though. Because in the other video, which is more recent, he said in the next 2 months, I'd give it 75%. So it's going up.
To March. So 50% chance Trump will be inaugurated next month, which is so exciting, guys. We've been waiting for this moment for so long. And then, what are the chances Trump will be inaugurated by the end of April? I would say 75% chance. On top of that, what are the chances Trump will be inaugurated by the end of this year? 100% chance. Now, why would I say there's a 100% chance Trump will be inaugurated by the end of this year? I'll tell you exactly why. Because, from my understanding, and I can't go into detail about it, the deep state plan is to kill millions of Republicans in the next 2 years. In other words, if Trump does not become president and saves us this year, my life is threatened. My family's life is threatened. Trump's family's life is threatened. Millions of Republicans' lives are threatened. They will come after us. And that's a huge deal. Trump's not going to let all his supporters, most supporters, get killed through democide. He's not going to allow that. So the only way he can save us is to become president this year. So that's why I know for a fact it'll be this year. 100% chance. Could it be in April? Like I said, at the end of April, there's a 75% chance Trump will be inaugurated because I did hear from one source that I'm kind of iffy on that source right now. That because
that source is iffy, but the other ones are rock solid.
Of some delays in the plans, that the initial March 4th date has been changed and it's been moved to mid-April or maybe the end of April. I don't know how accurate that is, but it makes sense that if things haven't gone perfectly according to plan, there would be some delays and stuff like that. But I'm still pretty confident it'll be in March because the only evidence I have that Trump controls the military is this law and that power.
And I've debunked that, so bummer.
Power to control the military expires on March 20th. So why would he not use it while he has the power? He has the power to make himself president and arrest people using the military. Why wouldn't he use it? It makes sense that he would use it, right? Makes sense to me. So this is very exciting. We have a lot of evidence that is confirming that the military is being commanded by Trump. That Trump will be inaugurated this year. And these are the 2 main things I've been saying through my YouTube channel when I really started getting into politics. So it's very exciting that thanks to you guys, there's all this evidence confirming what I've been saying. So we have a lot to be excited about.
Now, the message 1933 was specifically pointing to the date February 26, 2021, which is 2 days after this video will be available, which means...
Oh, thank God this is almost over. This one's exhausting me for some reason.
Maybe very, very soon we're going to see some exciting things happening. And then 6 days after that, we have March 4th, which maybe Trump will be inaugurated. So we have so much to be excited about. I mean, I know people are suffering so much right now, but all that suffering is going to make this victory much sweeter. So I think we should be hopeful. We should be excited. We should be optimistic. Good things are happening. All the evidence seems to be pointing to an incredible march, the best march of our lives. So let's be excited. Let's keep our heads up. I'm going to stop talking about politics for a second. I'm going to give you a little channel update on what's happening with me. It's just about thanking you guys for all the support that you've been giving me. I've been having a very rough week because of the deep freeze in Texas. I ordered some kratom and it's been delayed a week.
That's a good question. I don't know what the pendant is of, but on the pendant it appears it's a sword with a couple guns crossed, with crowns sort of surrounding them. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with that symbol.
Which means I've had almost no kratom.
With sort of a shield
and why
in the
that's
center.
a big deal and why that's affecting me and even my YouTube channel is because my workload
Oh yeah, we'll be checking in with him as he makes new videos.
before kratom was a third of what it is now, and I was able to triple because I have a low pain tolerance and I'm in so much pain through exercise and working and cleaning bathrooms and cleaning the whole house and doing the dishes and cooking and taking care of the girls, changing diapers, homeschooling, taking my mom, working on the fire, cutting wood, bringing wood up. Like, it's such a high workload that the only way I've been able to do all that on top of my YouTube business, which I put between 20 and 30 hours a week into, the only way is...
He puts 20 to 30 hours a week into this? Dang. How many videos is he putting out a week? Let me look. He's putting out, like... Oh, okay. He was posting quite a bit more. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He was posting 6 videos a week 2 weeks ago, and then he did 2 videos last week, and now he hasn't done any videos this week. Maybe he's not having a very good time because of, you know, reality.
Is to basically take kratom, and then I don't feel my pain, and I can just push through the pain. But this last week...
I really feel bad, though. It sounds like he deals with, like, chronic pain issues, and I feel bad for him about that. The Ender 92, I'll do the other bit messages in a second, but I do think this is important. Says, also, kratom is crazy addictive. I use it every once in a while for anxiety, but you should definitely not use it as much as he's saying. Yeah, that's not good. He should get some weed or something, although that might be difficult if he's not in a legal state.
I haven't had that...
Oh, he got blocked for 2 weeks? He says in his latest video. I thought we watched his latest video.
Kratom that
unless he posted it elsewhere, I guess.
Need to push through the pain, so my workload's still been tripled than what it was before.
Yeah, we
kratom,
watched his most recent
but I don't
video.
have anything to deal with the pain, so my pain level, like between 1 to 10, is like a 7.5. My back specifically, I mean, all over my body is like a chronic 3, but my back is like a 7.5. This morning I didn't even want to get out of my bed. I just want to lay down in my bed and not get up, and I was feeling a little depressed, a little sad, even though I have a lot of things going for me, because you just get hit with so much pain and it drains you emotionally. You feel so sad. But then you guys came in and cheered me up. One person, very generous person, sent me a very generous donation. And so much of, I really appreciate donations that have been coming in. Like, you guys are really cheering me up, supporting me, making sure my channel stays alive. Thank you. Thank you for everyone, my Patreon supporters, the people donating, people signing up on Rakuten. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you to the people who are debating me. And a special thanks to the people who are sending me information that either contradicts what I'm saying or confirms the things I've been saying, especially this recent email. I looked at it today while I was meditating before making this video, and I was like, oh, I'm going to check my phone, and then...
See, again, this differentiates him a lot from some of the other ones I've seen, where he's like... He's saying thank you to people who are debunking some of the things he's been saying. I think this is a true believer who just, like, has been sucked into this lie, unfortunately, and doesn't know that they're wrong. I feel bad for him. Maybe through some of these videos, maybe he'll see them, and maybe he'll I don't know, get something out of him. If he watches this, I just want to say directly to you, you seem like a nice enough guy. I apologize for the chronic pain you're in. My girlfriend deals with chronic pain issues too, and I know that can just be absolutely debilitating and affect you not only physically, but just the emotional toll is immense. So I understand that that's difficult. But that aside, I think you've let yourself fall into a false conspiracy theory, and I think you've become very emotionally attached to that, understandably. You've spent a lot of time on this, and you've probably met a lot of friends and community through this, but the claims you're making and the idea that you believe that there's this like secret cabal doing a bunch of evil stuff and that Donald Trump is going to come and save, no, that's not the case. Donald Trump does not care about you. Donald Trump is not a good person. And I'm not like a Biden stan either. I don't really like Joe Biden, but you gotta understand Trump does not care about you. He doesn't care about you or your problems or your chronic pain. Donald Trump is a shitbag, and if you want to find help, you really should look elsewhere. I apologize, but that's just the truth.
The message was like, hey, confirmation that Trump controls the military. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can use this in the video. And it's all thanks to you.
What about having a conversation with him? Would I be open to it? Yes. He's the kind of person I would probably be okay with talking to on stream.
Supporters. My secret sauce to making my channel very good is you guys. You are my secret sauce. I know there's some haters, but even the haters give me feedback that's sometimes valuable. Sometimes they expose flaws that some of my supporters don't want to expose. So thank you so much. I'm so humbled. I'm so lucky. Praise the Lord. I am in a perfect position to cheer people up. I have a lot of power, almost 30,000 subscribers now, to help people, cheer people up, make a difference in the world, have a positive impact, spread news that people need to hear, cheer people up. Thank you for everyone who's liking and sharing and commenting and debating and sending information and subscribing. You guys are at the core of what's making my YouTube channel so great. Thank you so much. I hope this video keeps you guys informed and excited, because we have a lot to be excited about, and I really, really appreciate this symbiotic relationship we have where you are supporting me so much, and I feel like I can cheer you up while you guys are cheering me up as well. Thank you. I'm so blessed, so honored, and I feel like I really owe it to you guys to produce the highest quality videos possible, and I'm doing my very best to achieve that. Thank you so much for everything, guys. And cheer up. Have a happy day, because we have a lot to be excited about and great things are happening. So put a smile on your face, be excited for March, and onward we go. And if it doesn't happen in March, that's okay. It'll happen in April. Not April, this year. So everything will be great. Oh, I got a daughter banging on the door, so I got to end this video. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Oh, he has kids. Oh, no. Okay, oh my god, his videos get almost 200,000 views, 160, these are his most viewed videos in fairness, but I guess I assumed his videos would be getting much fewer, like this 3.3, 3.7, that sounds more reasonable to me, but, anyway, I actually feel bad for this guy. I'm sure he has some pretty detestable views based on being involved in the QAnon community, but this is one that I think could maybe be brought back to reality, and maybe I'm wrong, but here's hoping, I guess. But this guy's been growing like crazy. Like, here's a 5,000 subscriber video, and then a 20,000 subscriber video. He just absolutely blew up. Let me look at him on Social Blade. $300 subscribers. Yeah, he got 19,000 subscribers in January. That is bonkers. That's a crazy number of subscribers to get in 1 month for a channel that size. I've never gotten that many subscribers in a month. It's crazy. Looks like he had to delete some videos, though, because he lost a bunch of views, so he probably, at some point, had to delete some videos for being conspiracy or something. Either way, I hope this guy For one thing, if I ever get an opportunity, I'll talk to the guy. He doesn't have a business email or anything, so I can't contact him. But maybe at some point we'll get an opportunity to talk to him and maybe walk him back from the edge a bit. Anyway, let's take a look at the bingo card, and then I'll do bits messages, which I just have a whole ton of. Where's Q claimed as a source? Q claimed as a source because he literally read one of the Q drops. He didn't say the word Q because YouTube, but he did read one of the Q drops. So, I'm gonna go with satanic. I think you mentioned people being satanic. Numerology used as evidence. And I think that's it. Okay. Whew, so many bit messages and stuff to read. This is going to take a little bit, and then we'll move on to the next thing. False flag. What did he mention about a false flag? We already had deep state, but yes, he did say it. He did, you know, I'll say my research also, because he did vaguely allude to him doing research, so that's fine. I don't think he said false flag at any point. Nick says, I'm just going to try and get through these very quickly. Fun fact, nope, already read that one. Tyrant Gorilla, thanks for following. Pyromancer. Someone has bingo? Hold on. 314 Nikki has bingo. Could I get a link to the bingo card, please? So I can check it. Sorry I missed someone saying bingo. I apologize. Yeah, if you tag me when you have bingo, like, just do @HannahReloaded. It's easier. It highlights it on my second screen where I look at chat. Alright, whenever that gets linked, I'll check it out. But until then, I'm gonna do the bingo, or do the bit messages. Pyromancer says, at least this is true. Trump keeps acting like he cares about his voting base. MH Darkbeast, thanks for resubscribing with 10 months, says, Viva la Hannah, I'm here for tinfoil, trash, and crazy people. Show me the wackadoos. Let me see the bingo card. Satanic. Study from the 18th or 19th. Expert. Numerology. Q. Yep. That's a bingo. Okay. 314 Nikki. I will write your name down for a bingo if you want to let me know when you need your sub resubscribed, or if you ever want me to gift it to someone, just let me know. I gotta get a new page for this soon. Who do I still owe a bingo sub to? Let me look, just so I can read it out. Some of these people haven't been here in a while, so I don't expect them to. But Raznet, Jarrett, Runefar, Schlock, Corndog Calvary, Overprotective Atheist, and Crystal Cat. I all owe subs still, if any of those people are around. If not, that's cool. Just letting you know. I don't know why I'm saying it's cool. If they're not here, they can't hear me, but you get it. Cashling, thanks for following. Pyromancer says, I think this guy is confusing Trump with Biff, who had future information. Andrew Batella says, why not use a crystal ball? It works just as well. Edgeley Sam, thanks for following. Wagroads, thanks for gifting a couple subs. Nick says, Trump knows he'll win, just like how I know I'll get the gold medal in the decathlon in Tokyo this summer. Pyromancer says, the deep state wants to empty the ocean into the core of the earth. Bardlock Moses says, just found out yesterday that my new coworker believes in more citizen stuff and that the earth is flat. Oof, sorry to hear about that. Kelly Voicer X, thanks for subscribing. Pyromancer says, come on, Hannah, the deep state can afford N2 cooling. I don't even know what that is. Wait, is that nitrous cooling? Jeez. Logarth with 100 bits says, hype train. Nick says, between High Roots family and Health Sanctuary family, I'm beginning to think these family channels on YouTube aren't such a good idea. MW1642, thanks for the bits. Daddy Sume with a link about the mayonnaise thermal paste thing, which maybe we'll take a look at in a sec. Distant Red, thanks for the 69 bits. Nice. Kelly Voice with I'm just going to shorten it to Kelly Voice with 100 bits. Thank you. Bardlock Moses with 100 bits says bits for foil. Cupcake Chaos with 45 bits. Pyromancer with 100 bits. Puka with 100 bits says bits for tinfoil. Wag Roads with gifting some subs to the community. Steve with a Q, thanks for resubscribing. Interesting, my sub goal went down even though it was at 100 earlier. Weird. Steve with a Q, thanks for resubscribing. The Little Leafy, thanks for 50 bits as I finally have bits during a hype train. Bardlock Moses, thanks for gifting subs to the community. Bitter Grin with 50 bits says bits for the tinfoil. Lavender Amberly, thanks for 100 bits. Wagroads, thanks for 100 bits. Sky Comet Fallen, thanks for 100 bits. Pyromancer, thanks for gifting 25 subs to the community. I think that was it, right? Or was that the 10 one? Either way, it was a lot of them. Thank you. Lavender Amberly, thanks for 100 bits. Hoi Polloi, thanks for 100 bits. Logarth, with 20 bits. Seriously, this guy looks like a kid that got beaten up regularly in high school. Oh, come on. No. Guys, I've told you a million times, do not comment on people's looks. I will not tolerate it. Nick with 24 bits says, very excited. This mother effer is excited about people who disagree with him dying. Yeah, that's yikesy. Bardlock Moses, thanks for 100 bits, says 15 years of gold posts. Purple Nickel with 100 bits says, I'm late for the weekly tinfoil. How shall I be punished? Oh, God, I'm not getting into that. Ooh, is there a chud in chat? Hold on. Who's the chud? Oh, is it like a tanky person? No idea. Anyway, let me keep going. Okay, this is getting a bit FBI open up. Yeah. Bardlock Moses with 100 bits says, the country is getting better under Biden. Imagine if we had someone good. Good Abels, thanks for resubscribing. The Littlest Leafy says, these glasses are sick as frick. Are you able to actually see well with them? Yeah, you can see through them. Talking about these ones that are like the cyberpunk ones. Where do they keep coming from? When two people love each other very much, they give a special hug, and that sometimes creates people in chat. Oh, I'm getting a headache. Marcus Drake, thanks for 50 bits. Bardlock Moses, thanks for 200 bits, says, Trump doesn't care about you and 5K is 1% of the people Trump killed. Pyromancer says, you have to put it under the Statue of Liberty. Maps and Mimics says, after resubscribing, just got here, is there a new date since March 4th? Also, thanks for the laughs. I've heard March 20th, but I've also seen multiple of them say, like, oh, there is no date. Don't start date, you know. They've been calling it date F-slurring. I don't know if that makes sense, but they've been calling it that. So if anyone says, like, oh, it's going to happen on this date, on, like, thegreatawakening.win, they're like, stop date F-slurring. Pyromancer says, Hannah is baking her in tinfoil wrapping. Nick says, fun fact, if Trump actually did what this guy is saying he's going to do, he would literally be up among the likes of Hitler, Mao, and Stalin, mass murder to own the libs. Yep. Andrew Patella says, quantum computers aren't even really, really good computers. They're typically slower than normal computers. There's just a few very specific calculations they can do orders of magnitude faster than classical computers. Yeah, it's a misconception people have. Tucker White 94 says, oh, for God's sake, Voyager 1 is closer to the Earth than these goalposts. Mike Mack says, In there, is there a video about the... oh boy, all sorts of different wrong there's there. Is there a video out there explaining how Trump isn't part of the Illuminati or deep state even though he fits right in? How is Trump not a member but other politicians, celebrities, and rich people are? He's just that good. Degenerate Feminist, thanks for subscribing. 7 months, quietly biding my time until our sub baby. We're almost done. We're getting there, everyone. Tucker White says, yeah, Trump's plan is to milk dipshits like this for all the money you have, then toss you aside when your well runs dry. Nick says, and you're going to show us the law that allows non-presidents to control the military, right? You wouldn't just be lying to us, would you? I mean, you people never lie on the internet. Posted from my Lamborghini. Pyromancer says, I couldn't throw money at you if this wasn't your job. And then another 100 bits, thank you. Tucker White says, that makes no sense. Why would either party agree to give a lame duck president that kind of power? The Democrats controlled the House at the time. You'd never have gotten this to Trump. Yeah. Not a lot of critical thinking going on. Someone already won bingo. Yes, Apollo. Truffle Tree, thank you for following. Pizzi Kata, thank you for following. Hoi Polloi with 20 bits says, 60 days. Tucker White says, I didn't understand much of any of that legislation you read, Hannah, but none of it sounded like it said, yo, Trump gets military control for some reason, even after he leaves office. You'd be correct. Biden doesn't have the control of the military. This is the same Biden that just recently called off a military airstrike in Syria for cynical optics, after he did do a Syrian missile strike, too. Yeah. Nick says, well, that summary of the bill aged very well. Pyromancer says, I look forward to his disappointment last this month. Hostile Sanchez, thanks for following. Nick with 24 bits says, this guy is the holy trinity of chud, conspiracy theorist and sovereign citizen. A lot of them are popping up now. Tucker White says, I love how it's presidents like Rutherford Hayes or Franklin Roosevelt who right people call socialist turned the United States into a corporation, pretending for a moment that the premise is an asinine. That happened under Ronald Reagan, blessed be his name, who turned America into a giant corporate nightmare. But still, America is not a corporation. It just, defers power to corporations constantly. Pyromancer says, or maybe it's because Trump is aware of the BS and is feeding into it. Probably. Nick says, maybe he fed his cultists his March 4th BS so he could make a ton of money from it. That'd be funny. Tucker White says, pretending for a moment that numerology isn't BS, does anyone on this stream right now think Donald Trump is smart enough to craft such an elaborate Da Vinci Code? MN Broodwitch says, Hannah, I just bought bits for the first time. It was 100% because of your deadpan camera stares. I loved it. Just wanted you to know. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Ender92 says, Hannah, honestly, these people are pathetic. I know we laugh at these idiots, but when do you think they'll give up this whole charade? It's going to depend on the person. They'll continue to drop off as time goes on, but there are always going to be people who are on the Trump train. Tucker White says, so if Trump has control of the military, what stopped him from doing an actual coup this whole time? Christ, not even the Bible has this many plot holes. Pyromancer, it was at this moment he knew he had fucked up by saying 100%. Bard Like Moses says, Trump doesn't care about you. Tucker White says, yes, Trump let you guys get killed. You're a peasant. Your life means nothing to rich guys like Trump. Nick says, by the way, Hannah, on his latest video, he says his YouTube punished him for posting conspiracy stuff, which is probably good. Giggledinies, thanks for following. Ender92 says, also Kratom, I already read that one. Nick says, I just got a bad feeling we might be seeing this guy in the news in a few years for all the wrong reasons. I hope not. Ender92 says, also it might be time to increase your cheer threshold. Maybe. I might have to up it to 30 or something. Lavender Amberly, thanks for resubscribing. Hot Buns for you, thank you for following. Woo, we did it. We did it. We did it. Ugh. Let's get on to the next conspiracy, jeez. That was a lot. Thanks, everyone, for sticking around while I read all those. Didn't lose too many people. Let's do more CC. I've been enjoying CC and his content recently. I don't know why. He's just been a funny fascination in terms of flat earthers for me recently. So let's see what he's up to today. This is a shorter one. This is only 3 minutes, and then he had another one that came out recently that I think is about 10. Let's check him out.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's on March 6th, 2020. And I'm going to be reporting to you about the hole in space. That's right, guys. You see, people who believe, and don't get me wrong, I did too at some point, about this spinning wet ball in space.
Can we not describe the planet as wet? It's gross to me. I don't know why.
This fantasy of a solar system and a galaxy and you know, an entire universe and all this other nonsense that we were taught. They believe that it is possible in the vacuum of space that there could be a hole. And
oh, is he going to talk about black holes and be like, I don't believe in black holes?
You can put your thumb up to it and then take your thumb off and then put a piece of gum on it.
What?
And that'll patch it up.
Does he think you can put a piece of gum on a black hole? And no, it'll spaghettify you. What are you talking about?
That's sad, because we all know...
Why haven't we found white holes? We actually have. They're called... Oh, God, what are they called? In general relativity, a white hole is a hypothetical region of space-time and singularity which cannot be entered from the outside, although energy, matter, light, and information can escape from it. So that is a theoretical concept. I don't think we've discovered one or anything, but it does fit within general relativity, which I don't know nearly enough about to tell you anything about it, but... And yes, I know you're memeing. I'm just letting you know.
Happens in a vacuum chamber. If it's ever compromised, okay? It's completely crushed.
I missed something. What did you say?
That's sad, because we all know what happens in a vacuum chamber if it's ever compromised, okay? It's completely crushed. We've done plenty of the experiments.
That's because there's an atmosphere of pressure. If it's on Earth, one atmosphere of pressure outside of the vacuum chamber trying to get in, and then if it gets in, it'll rapidly fill the area with gas pressure.
Experiments here, right on this flat land, many of them. As a matter of fact, we've used oil tankers. Oil tankers. I don't think the ISS, if it actually really did exist, could they possibly get that type of material up there? And if they did, it wouldn't work anyway.
The
See,
ISS,
that's the beauty of it.
The ISS is definitely stronger than an oil tanker. You know that, right? The ISS cost billions of dollars, I think. Do you think that oil tankers are stronger than the ISS?
All right, that's the beauty of the lies of NASA, because all they have to do is put out a picture of...
Hold on. ISS cost. Oh, Jesus Christ. The ISS cost $150 billion to build. I'm pretty sure they built it stronger than an oil tanker.
An album from the 60s, rip that picture off, show everybody that's the hole that was in the ISS, and people just go along with it.
Oh, is he talking about the recent leak that happened in the ISS? Yeah, I remember about this. The ISS is reaching the end of its service life just because it's been around for a really long time. And it's unfortunate. I hope another International Space Station type project gets developed at some point because I really think it's a great thing and I think it's awesome. But yeah, it's starting to get air leaks and stuff, which at the sizes we're talking about aren't like a major issue for what's going on, but it's not good. It is reaching the end of its service life.
Has anybody tried to show one of these pictures to somebody here during a flat Earth debate or anything like that? Because that's true. That really happened. It's not a lie. This is an official NASA document that said there was a hole in the ISS.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's what they believe.
Oh, I see what his issue is. Okay. So he's saying that on Earth, if you have a vacuum chamber and it gets a hole in it, then atmosphere will blow into it, trying to, equalize the gas pressure between the inside of the container and the outside. And that is something that is a concern with the ISS. But when we're talking about the ISS, it's the opposite situation. You have a container filled with pressurized gas, and the outside is a vacuum. So there's a hole, but the air can only escape at the volume that the size of the hole will allow. So it is an issue, and they're certainly going to be able to detect, which is why they detected the problem, variance in air pressure as air started to slowly escape and get into the vacuum of space. But they were able to patch the hole. It doesn't happen instantaneously. Now, if the hole were big enough, that would be very, very bad, and everyone would get blown out of the ISS, and it would be terrible. But the hole wasn't, that big. It wasn't like a movie. It was like a little tiny leak.
I mean, really, do I have to put it in the description box, a picture of an oil tanker that had no air in it and it was punctured? And
again, that's because it's dealing with, if you guys haven't seen it, it's actually pretty interesting. Hold on. Oil tanker puncture pressure. Oil tanker destroyed. I'm not actually sure specifically what he was talking about. I guess I thought he was talking about the experiment they've done where, I think the Mythbusters did this too, where they took some sort of sealed container and did a vacuum and had it crush itself, because, not really crush itself, but if they, remove all the air from the inside of the container, the atmosphere of pressure that is on all of us constantly if you're, at sea level, because we're in the atmosphere. The atmosphere is pushing on all of us, but also we're pressurized in such a way that we have atmosphere pushing out. So if you have a tanker truck and there's a constant atmosphere of pressure pushing on it, that's fine, because that atmosphere also exists within the tanker if it's not, pressurized and turned into a vacuum. So it's also pushing out, protecting it and its integrity. But if you then take that same tanker, airproof it, and then create a vacuum, then all of a sudden there's nothing on the inside of the container to push against the atmosphere, and it crumples up from the pressure on the outside. It's very interesting. But that's not really relevant to the conversation he's having about the ISS, so I don't know why he's having it. Pyromancer with a link, is this the thing? Yeah, this is the Mythbusters one. This is what I was talking about. I just want to get to the crush part, because I don't want to use a ton of this. There we go.
You melon farmer.
Yeah. That happens because they removed all the air from the inside that was helping, push against the atmosphere, which is happening all the time. We just don't think about it, and therefore the atmosphere crushed it.
And then, what do you think happened? Or the capsule, it was open, it was completely crushed. Crushed! There was no computer saying you have 5 minutes until atmospheric.
I mean, they certainly had some reading that told them, oh, air is leaking out somewhere, and then they fixed it. It's not a movie.
Depression. No, nothing. Instantaneous. And that's what it would be if you were in space and it actually really did exist. And you were in a space.
No, it wouldn't. Why do you think it would be crushed? I don't understand why you think it would be crushed. On Earth, that happens because of the atmosphere crushing an area that isn't fighting back, because there's no air inside. This is the opposite situation. It's pressurized with atmosphere inside, with a simulated atmosphere with air, whatever you want to call it, and then outside is a vacuum. There's nothing pushing down on it from the outside.
spacecraft and there was some sort of compromise on the helm of your fucking ship.
He gets so mad, too.
And if you believe that and you buy it, that's fine. Enjoy your spinning wet ball in space. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos and let me be a part of your life.
All right, he's got a 7-minute long video that he put up recently. Let's watch this and then we'll move on.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's March 6th, 2021, and yes, it's finally happening. They've stopped reporting about the deaths. That's right. They sure have. As a matter of fact,
not really. I just saw an article today because the U.S. I think finally reached under. I don't know if this is going to be reflected in the chart yet, but the deaths have been going down in large part due to the mass vaccination effort, which is excellent. Please sign up to get your vaccines for the coronavirus at your local pharmacy or through your state, whatever happens to be the thing. For the first time yesterday, I believe, or in the past couple days, the average death count from coronavirus has been under 1,000. So it's a tragedy still. 500,000 people died. 30 million people almost have, suffered and probably will suffer lifelong complications due to it. But we are on the back end. We are finally, hopefully, dealing with coronavirus because of the vaccinations, and it's wonderful. So this is in the news. I saw a news article about this just today. They are reporting about the deaths. It just so happens that the news is better in that the deaths are actually going down finally, which is great.
I'm hearing statistics of car deaths now. Not the flu yet. I haven't heard the flu.
The flu was actually much less prevalent this year because people have been doing social distancing and wearing masks, which also helps with the flu. Fun fact. So from now on, if you want to help prevent flu during flu season, you could wear a mask. You don't have to, but you could. Other countries do that pretty regularly.
I haven't heard anything about the flu.
Yeah, Tucker White has a thing. Daily COVID-19 cases totals are ticking up again in Texas. Lovely. But this is from 54 minutes ago, and this is AP. Like, everyone pulls from AP. So this is one of the biggest news sources in the country, if not on the planet.
Deaths this year.
There have been fewer flu deaths this year because of social distancing and masks, which is why you haven't heard about it. And there have also been way more coronavirus deaths anyways, which is why that comes up too.
This year. But they're starting to report about that. But don't you see? And now they're reporting about COVID shots. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the whole thing. It should have been rolled out 6 months ago, but now it's just starting to.
It wasn't ready 6 months ago. It wasn't FDA approved 6 months ago. How do you think this works? They can't just magically create a vaccine out of nowhere.
Rolled out. Look, anyway, you can get one jab or you can get the 2 jab. And I really think, highly recommended, maybe the 1 jab might be the way to go for you. If you feel like you should. That's up to you. You know what really pisses me off? I was actually... Somebody told me if I got the shot, they'll give me money. That's sad, guys. That's how bad it's gotten. That was a family member who told me that. Because they want me to be safe. This is what they've done. This is what they wanted to happen. And this is what they've created. They have created an upside down hell fucking world for you to live in right now. And when it's going to bounce back, I have no idea. These people have become so indoctrinated. I mean, it is just so strong that they might be beyond hope right now, where I don't think they're ever coming back. I saw a woman today when I went to the deli this morning to get a cup of coffee, and this other woman was coffee, just a minor coffee.
Sorry, I was reporting another transphobe.
What I'm saying, just one of those, like, clear my throat coughs. and she was coming out the door, and the other one was coming in the door, and she started coughing right at about the same time that she opened the door, and the other woman was trying to come inside, and she stopped immediately, frightened.
Yeah, you should be frightened of idiots who are not taking precautions and are sneezing over other people. You should. Frankly, even if it wasn't coronavirus, if someone sneezes in my direction, I would be like, what the fuck? I don't want to be in your sneeze. What the shit?
And then she looked around, like she needed to know what to do. She needed to know what... Somebody needed to tell her what to do, because that confused her. Someone merely coughing in front of her confused her.
She was upset because we're in the middle of a pandemic and people still aren't taking it seriously. Luckily, hopefully we're not in the middle anymore. Hopefully we're at the tail end. But nonetheless, it's still a danger if you don't have the vaccine.
She looked around. She looked around for advice. Nobody was around at all. And then finally she managed to walk in. But I mean, that one moment of that person just not knowing what to do was just so sad to see. A fucking somebody just coughing. Oh man, it's unbelievable. I'll tell you, here where I live, it's taken such a strong hold. I don't know, and a lot of people are on edge. I mean, they are pissed. And they're outside behind the wheel, pissed. You know, so the accidents, I'm sure, have soared through the roof.
I would think car accidents are probably actually down this year because fewer people are out on the roads constantly because they're either working from home or whatever. So you're probably wrong on that.
The aggressive driving is just unbelievable.
That's funny coming from this guy who constantly records videos while he drives and also has rage rants. I guarantee it's affecting the way he drives.
You know, but I mean, here we are, you know, and we're here watching this unravel. And the powers that be wanted this to happen.
No, I don't think anyone wanted a global pandemic that basically crashed the global economy and put countless numbers of people out of work. Created huge stresses for people for being inside for a whole year. No one wanted this. It's just an unfortunate reality because we live in a world where disease exists. And that's bad.
And they wanted to show us, flat earthers, what they can do. They can shut down a whole fucking world. A whole world. Over nothing.
Half a million dead people in the United States is nothing, apparently, in 30 million cases. Great.
And I know their agenda is something else, too. I know it's about money. I know it's about a lot of other things. But mainly flat Earth.
That's my favorite thing about CC is no matter what the issue is, he always thinks the underlying reason is flat Earth. Oh, we're on to them. That's why. Oh, it's all about flat Earth. No, it's not.
Signs are there, the numbers are there, everything is there. It's all there for you to see. It's laid out there, you know? I mean, this is bullshit. This is nonsense if you can't see this yet. You know, if you can't see this simple thing, with all the headlines, with all the news reports, with all the fake news reports, with all the bullshit that's going on, you're just gone. Okay. And I really do feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you to a point right now where there is absolutely no way anybody else is going to be able to get through to you. Not me, not anybody. I mean, this is serious shit. They've brought down a society. They brought down people that are just, at this point, begging to have things reopen when all they have to do is just rip that fucking face mask off.
Don't do that.
Group together as people and say, fuck you, I've had enough of this nonsense. We're not going to tolerate it. All right? We've got a politician now who's now going to possibly be in jail. And he is the one who has told you what to do.
Does he think Biden's going to jail for some reason? Why?
He's the one who has mandated everything. Okay? And this scumbag...
What are you talking about? Biden didn't do any state mask mandates. Biden signed an executive order that requires masks on federal property, but that's it. So if you're going, like, to probably the post office or other federal government buildings, then you have to wear a mask in there. But he can't control individual states. Oh, he's talking about Cuomo, or Cuomo. Oh, God, I can never say his name correctly. Yeah, I know who he's talking about. I forgot he lived in New York.
Now, like they all have. You see, when you get to a position like that in life, you don't think that person's going to have
Cuomo
something in the closet, some skeleton in the closet. Are you kidding me? All you got to do is just pull it out somehow or another. It's there somewhere. Just like the reason why we have the president that he's behind the chair right now. You know how many skeletons he has in his closet? I mean, Christ, look at his family. Look at his son.
Yeah, his son got a big old donger and did drugs.
Look at everything. They can impeach him in a second. He's not making any decisions, and he never will.
Then what's the issue? If you think Biden isn't in charge, why do you even want to impeach him? What would the point be? At least be internally consistent.
Making the decisions. And they pretty much always have. Maybe Trump broke the chain, but still, it's the same old thing.
One of the pictures from Hunter Biden that got leaked was him eating pizza while getting serviced by a lovely woman. And he has just a massive sausage. And that sounds like a pretty fun life, hey? You know? Having sex, eating pizza, doing drugs.
You know? The same old thing. It doesn't make a difference. And it always will be. I don't know.
And it was the fact that it was eating the pizza while fornicating, right? That's a power move. Okay, so that's CC. I don't know. Still being a denier, still being a conspiracy theorist. Everyone out there, I shouldn't have to say this to my audience. I know you're all on my side for the most part. I imagine there's one or two conspiracy theorists who maybe watch me. COVID's real. It is dangerous. CC is not a doctor. He knows nothing. Do not listen to him. Listen to doctors. Get your vaccine, please. Bits messages. Hot buns for you. Thanks for following. Pyromancer says I'll never stop bombarding you with bits. Diamond Bling, thanks for following. That XY girl with 30 bits says raise the minimum Hannah wage. Hoi Polloi with 30 bits, thank you. Tucker White with 20 bits. Shut it, that XY girl. I spent enough as it is on bits just to send 5 messages. We don't need to up the bits minimum again. Have you considered you have a problem and are addicted to bits messages? Not Hannibal. Lecter with 40 bits says, can we add a random dancing button in channel points? No. Pyromancer says Earth-chan is super wet and round. Bardlock Moses says YouTube should ban portrait. Jeff Millart says hats off to anyone who got the reference in my previous cheer. Wagroad says there is a galaxy they have found with a massive radiation fountain at the center that seems to be similar to a white hole or decaying black hole. Toying24 says, what's CC's deal? Is he a Christian fascist like Nathan and his pig boy? I don't know how you could be a flat earther and not be a specific kind of psycho. I actually don't know if he's, like, religious or what. Nick says, I have never seen anyone get so mad at space since Trump created the Space Force to attack space. Ender92 says, space doesn't exist, but if it did, it would work the way I say, not the way it would, even if they made it up, they can set the parameters in which space works. Towing24 says the death rate is going down until all the people who went to CPAC start showing symptoms. Bardlock Moses says we need a projection emote. That's true. Hellswake, thanks for subscribing for 5 months. Be trans, throw hands. Bardlock Moses says, people being POS is confusing sometimes. Quiet185, thanks for resubscribing with 2 months in a row. Rublum with 100 bits says, so my mom and 500,000 died, so Sir Chuddington can't talk about flat earth. I don't generally hate people, but I absolutely hate this man. Understandable. Pyromancer says, just addicted to Hannah. And then Daddy Sume with some sort of link. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. Does that count as a Rick roll? Do I need to give Daddy Sume another strike? That's a tough one. Let's do a poll. Okay, you're deciding Daddy Sume's fate here. Is that a Rickroll? Is that another strike? Vote now! It's 10. We'll see. Ooh, it's actually pretty close. If survivors of previous pandemics were alive, they'd smack the idiot out of these people. I agree. It's so close. It's so close. Ooh, it's at 50-50. Oh. This is gonna tear the community apart. I take your thoughts into consideration, Baha. Thank you. Did I see this person? Hold on. Right-wing pastor Shane Vaughn insists that the stimulus check contained in the COVID-19 relief package passed by the Dems and the Senate are really an offering from Trump, even as Donald Trump has left office. His blessings to America have continued.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, that bill that was passed today where you're getting all this money, that was an offering from our late president to every one of you. Because that dollar amount, remember, you got $600 earlier in, a few weeks ago, month ago. $600. Well, now you're getting the rest of what he fought for. 1,400 more equals.
Because of the Democrats. And it still wasn't enough. Oof. Looks like Daddy Sume wins by 6 votes. That's so close. The community has spoken.
$2,000 a person. So even as Donald Trump has left office, his blessing to America has continued. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that bill that was passed today where you're getting all this money, that was an offering from our late president.
All right, what's this? Budget $500 PC, but using mayonnaise as the thermal paste? I don't need to see the whole build. I just kind of want to see the mayonnaise part. When did he do the mayonnaise? I want to see the mayonnaise.
Ticket through the hall and another rest. And we check the big stock and stick down in the next hall. Yes, this is the right setup and the marking for details. This is the fan we are using. Has actual copper inside and thermal paste already. On both sides attached on the latches. Oba, tighten it up, nice. And blин, it already looking nice. We can attach the CPU fan power already. What the fuck, come know how this always happen. Every time we build PC, блин. Это же CPU fan cable because there is not much management we can do with this one. The motherboard usually says CPU fan, so you're not accidentally sticking wrong hole. Some RAM. Sticker will leave a letter, make sure it aligns correctly with the hole below. And if your motherboard has more than 2 slots for RAM, make sure you install the lowest numbers first, like A0 and then B0, because the dual channel actually
Oh, this was with
remove
thermal
and
paste,
reinstall
and
the
then he
heatsink and
adds
CPU, so the factory stuff that was on the heatsink is now gone.
Yeah, let's
This
get
is
to
running
installing the mayonnaise.
just complete. We should done. Open up. So this was air-powered ITCMX4 running on 50, idling at 40. Let's clean up the heatsink, do some detailing on these ridges so it not ruin the mayonnaise experience. Clean up the CPU as well. And back in the hole it goes. Nice and clean. It is ready to become a very high-tech buterbrot. And this is actual mayonnaise and not some magical thermal compound.
Oh, don't just eat a spoonful of mayonnaise. Jesus Christ.
Take a nice small bit, not using more than we need. Come on, come on. Ah, perfection. Reapply the cleaned heatsink, reattach the cable so the burn has done. I think we're ready. Mayonnaise machine, revision 1.2. First time ever, replacing thermal paste with mayonnaise. Давай, let's make some history.
Oh god, it's so loud.
After booting up, this temperature stayed nice and cold 36, Stalker played at a very stable 44 degrees. After dropping to idle and waiting to cool down, instead of 40 degrees with thermal paste, the CPU dropped down to 37. I swear you cannot make this shit up. So of course I ran Cyber 77. The CPU, yes, peaks at 50 once again. The GPU for whatever reason stays a bit cooler than before. I ran Metro and again similar results. Peak at 50 and after 15-20 minutes of gaming and dropping to idle and waiting to cool, the CPU dropped back to 37. So of course I needed to go back and double check. I ran Stalker again. This time it ran on 46 degrees. But at this point it could have already been that the ambient temperature of the room has risen so much. But after seeing once again CPU dropping to idle of 37, I was convinced and the test was complete. Yes, not only you can use mayonnaise as thermal paste, but it is even more efficient and will run cooler than thermal paste. For next PC, we built vodka cooled and mayonnaise thermal paste ultimate Slavic gaming machine. Just think of the thermal performance we can achieve. Delicious. And yes, you are definitely wondering what does mayonnaise look after it has been run as a thermal paste for roughly 2 hours of gaming. It looked like this. It has not evaporated, it has not boiled away. Instead it has security position. And guess what? It's still just good.
Oh no, don't eat it!
Everybody.
Oh
Just
god!
complete the test. It is a complete success.
It's been
PC not just run on
warmed
mayonnaise,
for-
it ran better on mayonnaise. Actually, it goes with everything. Forget this overpriced cream, go for Slavic mayonnaise. Also, if you have not already, click that join button, join the channel subscription, get a nice loyalty badge next to your name in the comments. And for me, you are chicky-bricky. Давай.
Don't put mayonnaise in your computer. That's a bad move. Oh, who are we covering next? You know, I can't resist doing... You know, I can't resist doing a call for an uprising. I don't know why. He's just very funny. Let's check out a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to do a video covering another symbol that has deep-rooted meaning to the occult. People wonder why I cover these things. I have a whole playlist on symbols. It's one of the easiest ways to wake people up, in my opinion.
Again, remember, I started a whole list that we'll probably be adding to in this video on things that conspiracy theorists claim are Freemason symbols. So, we'll probably be adding to that list.
Is learning the symbols and then seeing for yourself. I've had many people in my life who have tried to wake up over the years. I found one of the easiest ways was pointing out these symbols beforehand, telling these people to look for these symbols, such as the black and white tile, such as the pyramid, such as the all-seeing eye, such as the spiral, such as the phoenix rising. There's so
Okay, these are symbols that exist, call for an uprising. You are correct. Stars exist. Gavels exist. Lightning symbols exist. You can point out any sort of, like, symbol. What you have not demonstrated is that these symbols are somehow indicative of a satanic cabal. That's the issue. No one is saying that, like, black and white tiles don't exist. Of course they do. It's a contrasting color scheme. Of course that's a thing that exists. What you need to demonstrate in some way is that it has some sort of connection to an evil cabal of Freemasons.
So many symbols that we constantly see through repetition. We see company logos who have the same logos as somebody else. How many logos for businesses use the pyramid or use the all-seeing eye? You think maybe somebody in the...
How many businesses use shapes in their logos? Most of them.
Marketing team would say, hey, you know what? I think somebody else has already used the eyeball. We're not, this isn't a company of optometrists.
Okay, here's my challenge to a call for an uprising. If you had to develop a symbol for a company, what would it be? And do one that is entirely not satanic and has absolutely no Freemason symbology. None. Okay? And it can't just be letters. It has to be a logo. And by the way, do we need to point out that a call for an uprising's logo has a pyramid with an all-seeing eye on it?
So maybe we should try to use something else that gears more towards what we do. The reason they use these symbols and these signs is because this is how they communicate with each other. And today I want to talk about a symbol that is just as commonplace as the pyramid, just as commonplace as the all-seeing eye, and that is the spiral.
There's another one for the list. Hold on, let me pull the list up. Where did it go? Here it is. We didn't have spiral on here yet, did we? Spiral! Yay!
We see this spiral all the time, right? I always call it the hypnosis thingy because that's what I used to say when I was a young kid. I'd always see that and I'd say, why is that always there? That hypnotizer, you're getting very sleepy. This symbol is deep rooted in witchcraft, Satanism, and the occult. And like many of these signs that they have and symbols that they use, it means a spiritual rebirth. That really, in essence, is what this is all about. To them, it's about a spiritual rebirth and the transformation. We hear transformation used all the time by these elitists. The rebirth is about the spiritual rebirth and the acceptance of the Antichrist. These people believe, if you've watched my
Twilight Zone is satanic, confirmed.
Videos.
I say that as a joke, but I guarantee Call for an Uprising genuinely believes that.
In regards to these symbols, they believe that they will never die, that they will be infinite, and they will constantly have a rebirth. Even when they die, they believe the rebirth will still be occurring, and they will constantly and always...
Isn't that what you believe? You're a Christian, Call for an Uprising. You think your death is just the beginning of your life with your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and that's fine if you're religious. I'm not, but you are. But are you really making fun of hypothetical religious beliefs when you're religious? It's kind of weird. Not that people really believe the thing you're saying, because the kind of Satanism that you think exists doesn't really exist in any significant way, but whatever.
Be in control here on Earth. That is what the symbol means to them, but this symbol has many different meanings to it. A spiral is one of the ancient goddess symbols as a sign of life as well. It is also one of the primary Wicca symbols. A spiral is created by a circle moving forward. As the wheel turns, you come around again, but not to the same point as before. You arrive at the same place, but on a new level. A spiral line uncoiling is the movement of creation to them. Now, I'm telling you this so that you know what the enemy does, because the enemy can be seen and spotted from miles away if you know their...
You know, those famous satanic organizations like Exotic Sushi. Ooh, FetCom. Sounds a little bit like FetLife. I don't know. I literally recognize zero of these companies. I don't even know what these companies are.
Codes and their symbols. Now, will you find salvation through knowing this? Absolutely.
Oh, God, yes, Junji Ito reference. Why didn't I think of that? I literally own that manga.
Absolutely not. Salvation can only be found, as I say in every video, through Jesus Christ. Or I try to say in every video. But if you follow the channel, you know my beliefs in Jesus Christ, my faith in Jesus Christ. Salvation can only be obtained through him. But I believe firmly in understanding the enemy, knowing the enemy, and seeing it in plain sight. Because these people are advertising who they are right in front of our faces.
I kind of take issue with the fact that he put this, the chapel, whatever camp this is. These aren't even really, they're just curvy. They're not a full spiral. So I think he was really trying to find spirally ones. Also, this isn't either. This is just dolphins in a circle. That's not a spiral.
The spiral, which represents...
You know what? A lot of these aren't spirals. This isn't either. This is like swooshes. And these are just circles. This is... this one's a little spirally. This one I'll give you, even though it's very different. I just want to say, a lot of these are kind of a stretch.
Death and the rebirth as a movement into the disappearing point of formlessness and out of it again to a new world of form. Now, obviously, if you follow this channel and the stuff with Pizzagate, we all saw that this symbol, a similar symbol like this, is used by the FBI in finding and...
No, it's not. Their source for this is a single page from a WikiLeaks page that claims this. There's been no evidence that that's actually true.
Detecting pedophiles.
Like, there's no source on the original document. It's literally just something that got put out in one of the WikiLeaks, like, leak things.
It is a symbol that businesses will use to let other pedophiles know that it is a front for pedophilia. In this case, the spiral meaning is for little boy lover.
No, it's not.
That is what it means. And we saw it all throughout a lot of the stuff with...
It does look a bit like Time Warner Cable. Oh, it's literally the Time Warner Cable symbol. And he just thinks, oh yeah, I remember that document said that any spiral is that.
Ping pong and the bands that were performing there. Just very sick and disturbing stuff. We see the symbol, of course, used by the occult in the television show True Detective, which I covered. You see the symbol there as well, on the victim's back, on the actual killer, this occultic symbol. The symbol is used throughout witchcraft. It has been found carved in Neolithic rock formations all over the world.
It's almost like people just think that that's a cool shape. Like, oh, what if it was a circle, but it constantly went in on itself? Neato.
See this symbol?
Like, imagine if I took, like, a circle. Imagine if I was, like... That's not a bad freehand circle. Imagine if I was like... This symbol has been found all throughout human history. What does it mean? Is it a symbol of satanic supremacy? Like, no, that's just a circle. That's just a shape. That's just a shape. It's a shape.
Symbol around if you actually look for it. You see, when I watch TV, if I put it on, obviously a lot of times I'm looking for stuff to do videos on, but I constantly am seeing this stuff. That's all I'm seeing when I'm watching. I'm not in an alpha state. I'm not going through it and enjoying it. I'm seeing the black and white.
By the way, let's see. Corporate logos with circles. You can do this with any shape. Oh my goodness, all these companies have circles in their logos. They're all satanic. See what I mean? You're finding connections where there are none. You're arbitrarily pointing out some specific shape that's very common and then deciding, well, if I see this shape anywhere, then it just confirms my suspicions of Satanism. No, it doesn't. It's just a shape. It's a common shape that gets used for things.
The pyramid, the stuff that we all talk about and know is there. The spiral is always there. It is more commonplace than even the pyramid is. And I'm not kidding. If you start looking for it, you'll see it. When musicians perform, right? We just saw Katy Perry perform at a live performance. Behind her, you always will see this. And some people go, oh, hypnosis. Yes, but it's also meaning for them to communicate because they are witches, and these symbols are to let others know.
If I was a witch, I wouldn't feel the need to be all secretive. I'd just be like, hey, we're witches. We have magic powers. We're in control. And that would be the end of it. Because that's how magic would work if it were real. But it's not. Magic isn't real. So the whole topic is kind of moot.
That this is a gigantic occult-like ritual that they're performing when they perform at these award shows. Now you can see a lot of businesses use this logo as their logo, the spiral. And again, remember, think of it from the standpoint of you're starting a business. Okay, just think that you're starting your own business. Would the first thing you think of is a spiral or a pyramid? Wouldn't you say, well, a lot of companies have logos like that?
Okay, a lot of companies use all sorts of shapes. There are only so many basic shapes. If you want like a... And there are logos that are more complicated. Like, look at the original Apple logo, right? The original Apple logo, I like it, but it's terrible at the same time. The original Apple logo looked like this. It was Isaac Newton under the apple tree, right? And then, of course, they simplified this pretty soon. They only had the initial logo for like a year, and then they switched to the more common logo because, as it turns out, people are more able to recognize your company and have brand recognition if you have simple logos. So let's look at some company logos. So logos will typically be brief, they'll be simple, they'll be recognizable easily. Domino's Pizza. It's like a square tilted on its side, or a diamond, however you want to say, with the Domino's Pizza, and then like a domino. It's only in the name. Why couldn't I think of it? Apple logo, silhouette of an apple. Google, G, Cisco. It's got the things that both look like a bridge, but it's also symbolic of the fact that they're a communication company. You get simple shapes. Adidas is another good example. It's sort of like a pyramid made up of 3 different lines. You want it to be snappy, you want it to be easily recognizable, and simple. You want it to be something someone can see immediately and know what it is. So logos are full of simple designs. Lego, red square with Lego written in it. Starbucks, circle with Starbucks coffee. You get what I'm saying? This is the entire point of corporate logos. It's a trademark. It's so you know what it is at a glance. It's supposed to be based on simple shapes. Easy ideas that are recognizable. It is not a conspiracy. It's just how advertising works.
This logo doesn't specifically show what we're all about, so why would we use it? Well, all these major corporations use the same repetitive logos. The Phoenix Rising, the spiral, the all-seeing eye, the pyramid. Look how many companies have this spiral shape as their logo. We see it with Dreamcast, Sega's Dreamcast.
Ooh, the Dreamcast. All of A Call for an Uprising's references are from like 20 years ago. The Satanists' plan to introduce the Sega Dreamcast to people. I guess that plan failed, because that was the last time Sega put out a hardware scheme.
We see it with Weststart Media. We see it even with Google, in a sense, with their logo. It's all over. The spiral is all over.
Where's the spiral in the Google logo? Because Google either has the full Google, or it has the G. Is he saying a G is a spiral? It's a G. It's the letter G. What do you mean it's a spiral? Do you think all G's are spirals? Google Chrome. He means Chrome, which is like a circle with this stuff, right? Hold on. Google Chrome logo. Okay, so it's like this. Is every circle that has like that a spiral? You're getting relatively broad on your definition of spiral here, but okay, I'll give you that one.
It is extremely common. Spiral edge, spiral key, spiral flame. Okay, it's not because they love doodling. It's not because they go, hey, you know, we're an oil company. We're gonna kind of come up with a logo for our oil company here. What do you think about just scribbling a little bit of that spiral zigzag stuff that you see on?
You know, they either, if they're a big enough company, have an internal PR department and an art department that comes up with that stuff. Or if they're a smaller company, they go and they hire a, like, advertising firm to come up with this stuff. There are entire companies whose entire job it is to come up with branding for your company, because that's a huge part of capitalism, is branding and selling yourself to the consumer.
On those
it's good to know Lego Dimensions is in on the Satanism too, because I own a lot of Lego Dimensions stuff.
Crazy tie-dye shirts. Oh, it's a wonderful idea. People will see it. They'll know that we're an oil company, huh? Obviously, when you start thinking and using common sense, none of this stuff makes sense. But people don't ask these questions. They just go through the motions, right? Why are these symbols used when they have nothing to do with what the company's about?
Because they're striking, and because it makes you remember the company. Like, if this just said Dreamcast, or this just said NVIDIA, or this just said Monster, it would be less recognizable than if there's a symbol with it, too. People are more prone to recognizing and remembering symbols than they are individual words.
The spiral, again, is about the rebirth. And all of these symbols that they use, for the most part, always go back, as we know, Illuminati, meaning the illuminated ones, the enlightened ones. But it also talks about a spiritual rebirth, and that is the rebirth into accepting the Antichrist. That is what this One Love movement is about. That is what this New World
One Love movement, 1965? What?
Order is about. It is about a rebirth, and they believe that they are constant in the universe, that they're never going anywhere, that we're never going to be able to stop them here on Earth. They believe they can defeat God. That's how confident and sick in the head and twisted these people are. But they believe this stuff. But remember now, why it's important to see these signs and symbols, because it's easy to help wake people up when they start looking for these things. They start going, all right, look, if you don't believe in this stuff, why are they constantly using this? And somebody will go, I don't know, I never noticed. And you say to them, all right, next time you watch a music video, every time going forward, look for a couple of these things and tell me if you see it. Then they're watching it, you know, in a state of conscious thinking. And it's not just music videos. Corporations, when you drive through your town, you'll see this spiral all over the place. We saw it at the place right next to Comet Ping Pong. Little Red Fox had it right on top of the building. Why do you think that is? This is them communicating through signs and symbols.
Again, if every single thing is a symbol, and as we see, there's a ton of stuff on this list, and this isn't all the things he believes. These are just the things I've documented since I started this list. The color orange, the number 33, butterflies, the sun, 5-pointed star, which is just your typical star, like stars that you see on the American flag or wherever. Pyramids, eyes, blue and gold, black and white, covering one eye, rock on hand symbol, which is, you know, the woo, crowns and spirals. If all of these things are satanic symbols and communication, then their communication is terrible. There's something called signal to noise ratio. If there's so much messaging that you can't decipher anything from it, then it's useless. Like, does he think that no one uses spiral designs who aren't satanic? For one thing, the premise is false in the first place. There isn't an evil secret cabal of Satanists. But even if there were, if they use spirals, well, everyone uses spirals. It's a basic shape. Everyone uses pyramids and eyes and the color black and white together. So they'd constantly be misunderstanding who they're talking to. They'd be like, oh, you're one of us, wink, wink, right? And the person would be like, what? What are you talking about? And they're like, the spiral and the black and white. And they'll be like, I just like spirals and the color black and white. What are you talking about? They would be accidentally outing themselves to people constantly. This is how Michael Scott thinks a secret society works, not how a real human being thinks.
Old saying, right? Signs and symbols rule the world. Confucius said it. There's a truth to that. Because these Masons...
I've also never... That's true. The Distant Red says real-life Satanists are less than subtle about it. I've never met or talked to a Satanist. And I've talked to Satanists. I've been on a Satanist podcast before, even though I'm not one, because we were talking about chick tracts, and I know a thing or two about them. I've never met a Satanist who isn't like, oh, if asked about it or whatever, isn't like, yeah, I'm a Satanist. It's not a secret thing. There are people who are Satanists. There are different kinds of Satanists. There are a lot of atheistic Satanists who aren't literally worshiping Satan, but they use it as sort of a iconography symbol thing to denote certain ideas. And then there are actual people who do believe in Satan and magic and stuff, and that's kind of silly, but, you know, a lot of religions are silly. It is what it is. People can believe what they want. Like, it is not... It's not evil, is what I'm trying to say. What's the podcast's name? Oh, goodness. It was a while ago. It was put on by the Bay Area Satanists. Let me see if I can find it. Satanic Bay Area... ooh. It's my old Facebook account I haven't touched in years. That's disgusting. Please ignore that. I'm trying to see if I can find there. Was it the Satanic Bay Area, or was it? Yeah, it was Black Mass Appeal. That's the podcast. It was quite a while ago, if you're looking for the episode. And frankly, I don't think I did a very good job, but that's neither here nor there.
These Satanists operate this way. They operate on a different wavelength because nobody else knows.
I don't remember if it was before I came out, actually.
That this is going on. No, none of us are trained in school to think like this. We're just told, hey, today we're going to study about cloud formations and rocks. Oh, okay. And you learn that. Meanwhile, nobody is ever told, hey, look for signs, look for symbols, because they want you when you're watching TV.
Right, because that's paranoid. You're having paranoid delusions.
To be in an alpha state. They want you to be asleep because they can program you that way. That's how all this stuff gets stored in your mind. You're watching TV, you're watching the news, you're not even paying attention to it, but your brain is processing what it's hearing. And then you regurgitate it the next day at work. You don't even realize it. You go stand next to the water cooler. Hey, you hear about Hillary Clinton? Oh, yeah. Whoa. Well, what about those emails? Oh, I think it's right? Regurgitated conversations, right? Just like they live, the walking zombies. That's what's going on because people are trained not to look for signs and symbols. If people were, then they would see that the enemy communicates in almost in its own language right in front of us with hand symbols, right? The 666, the pyramid with the hand, all of that stuff. It is them communicating. The all-seeing eye on the magazine covers thousands of times over, right? Not doing anything original here. They just keep doing it because they know people won't wake up to it. So the spiral, again, is something you always see. You'll see it in commercials all the time. You'll see it with them saying hypnosis with it. You're getting sleepy. You'll see it behind musicians during concerts. You'll see it on company logos. You'll see it on rock formations. You'll see it in tunnels places, right? You can drive around towns and you'll just see it on a wall. And you'll, what do you...
Because it's a common shape that people like.
What do you think? The guy just had a spray paint bottle and he's like, hang on 1 second. Let me go over to this, underneath this tunnel here. I'm going to make one of those spiral things, you know?
Literally, yes. Literally, yes. Saying something with an incredulous tone doesn't make it not true. Literally, yes. They're like, I'm going to tag this. What can I do? I don't know. Hi, kitty.
You know, like on the tie-dye shirt kind of thing. Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Hey, you know you can get 6 to 10 years for spray. Oh, who cares? It's worth it. It's a spiral. Why do you think that stuff is there? Why do you think we see these signs and these symbols everywhere? because they're controlling it. And
Because you're paranoid, and because you don't understand that basic shapes are just that. They're basic shapes that get used. Oh God, I have to wash my hands almost immediately. I forgot I gave her front line today, and I just pet her right on the front line spot. Shit.
people aren't thinking.
I have to go wash my hands immediately. I'm sorry, everyone. Give me 1 sec. I'm sorry, kitty. Entertain the people, okay? Here, I'll even move the camera so you can see her. Hi, kitty. Lupine, what do you think of the symbolism of spirals? Any opinion? What do you think? Yeah? I agree. Let me translate. Lupine says that she thinks that the man in the screen is being silly and probably paranoid.
About that stuff. They continue to go and walk through life asleep. So look for signs and symbols. It is an easy way to start waking people up to what is going on in this world. To me, I feel it's the easiest way. You start seeing it, you start telling people and pointing it out to them, and then more people go, yeah, this can't be, you know, there's something to this. Why am I constantly seeing this crap? What are people just obsessed with pyramids and eyeballs? Everybody wants to be an eye doctor.
You're obsessed with it. No one else is. It's an element for designs because it is a shape. You are obsessed. No one else is.
Doctor? Of course not. So knowing this stuff, I believe, is truly important in knowing the enemy and be able to see where he is, where they're operating, because they do place these symbols on their businesses, on their buildings, all right? So you know where they are at all times. You know they're lurking because they're not hiding it from anyone. It's there in plain sight. The problem is that people are hiding it from themselves because they don't want to hear this stuff. They don't want to listen to this stuff. They want to live in a bubble and think everything's okay. None of this could be going on. They want to be slaves to a system and just do the 9 to 5. This stuff gives them anxiety, or they don't have spines to talk about it.
Or they recognize that you're being incredibly paranoid and need to get a reality check. Probably more likely that one.
Or to address it, or to go after it. I believe it's important to know this stuff. But again, salvation can be obtained only through Jesus Christ. Not knowing this stuff, but through Jesus Christ. Knowing this stuff helps you know the enemy. It helps you awaken others as well as yourself to what's going on around you in this world. So you can protect yourself, protect your family, and help other people find Jesus Christ. Because when people wake up and see what's going on, it makes them realize that prophecy is coming true, that the Bible is real. And then they repent of their ways and they find salvation through Jesus Christ. That's what it does, knowing this stuff. I thank you all for listening to today's show. This is just the spiral, folks. It's another ridiculous symbol that goes back to Satanism and witchcraft, all about the rebirth and the transformation for these people. It makes me absolutely sick. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.
Call for an uprising is always interesting. He's pretty consistent in the amount of crazy. So that's good.
If you've ever had this feeling, have been controlled for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Sometimes when you're not looking for anything, it just comes across your desk, or you just fall into it, or you're just watching. Once you're awake and you're watching TV or watching anything, you see the signs, you see the symbols. There really is no escape, realistically. I was actually watching something on a completely different subject, and in it this came on in the middle of it, talking about this commercial from Apple for the very first Macintosh app. Apple, I've covered, you can share, never shipping with other people, which is really important because, you know, there's only so many you to look at the world. You'll
Yeah, it's an allusion to George Orwell's 1984. It's a 1984 ad.
We are one.
And then the person
$6.66, and that's of. Don't forget, the other guy, Steve, talking about, boy.
Why 1984 won't be like 1984.
I mean, boy. I mean, you got the masks simulation, and you have the. I mean, I get it. I get what it's playing off 1984. I get it.
Do
but when
you? Because you're kind of reading more into it than that.
Talk about Apple. You're talking about, the forbidden fruit. That's why it's named Apple. Steve Jobs.
It's named Apple after Isaac Newton's apple thing. It's not named after the fruit from the Bible, especially considering it's never once said in the Bible that the fruit, that the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is an apple. It doesn't say what the fruit is.
Jobs' last name's not Apple. Don't listen to the crap that they tell you. Don't forget, the other guy, Steve Wozniak, or however you say his name, was one of the founders of Apple as well.
Yeah, and he was an atheist, which is probably why they did the 666.66, because he thought it was funny, would be my guess. And then Steve Jobs was like, sure, fine, whatever.
Well, and the first computer, of course, sold for $666.66, and that is not a lie. You could hear it out of his own mouth.
So Steve Jobs went in to sell him some of our little boards that we built for $20. He said, no, people want to come in. They want to buy it pre-built. They want to buy the thing ready to go. It cost us $250 to build, maybe. We'd sell it for $500. And then the retail price was $666.66 because I, as a mathematician, like repeating digits. And that was what it should be.
I would also imagine the fact that he was an atheist and it was back in the day was probably part of it, but sure.
And for someone who believes that's a coincidence, you're just completely foolish.
Ugh. All right, that's a call for an uprising for today. Frustrating as always. That's probably good for the day. I'll do bit messages and then we'll raid. I think someone said Squid was on with the Surfs, which is pretty rad. I thought Squid was going to be on. I thought someone said, or maybe they were just saying Squid and the Surfs are on separately. That would make more sense, I guess. Okay, let me do bits messages. Bardlock Moses says Daddy is saved for now. Roman Civilian, thanks for 50 bits, says I love democracy. Pyromancer says Dem should start talks of next stimulus check so it gets done sometime this year, and if you don't cut yourself while building a PC, you're doing it wrong. Logarth with 20 bits says I don't know who we are covering next, but I do know we're covering them in Slavic mayonnaise. Daddy Sume says I wonder if I should flirt with disaster and send Hannah another Rickroll image. No. Daddy Sume says Hannah has a FetLife profile confirmed. No, I don't. Mike Max 321 says, will that mean spiral drills, whirlpool, and hurricane are satanic because they basically 3D spiral? Yes. Bardlock Moses says Pizzagate, that's a ban. True. Littlest Little Leafy with 25 bits says, all this talk of circles and spirals reminds me of a Hannah and Jake video from ages ago where you said the strongest shape for an argument is a circle. Towing24 says, that's the Time Warner cable symbol. Someone should send this video to Spectrum so Uprising gets his balls sued off. I don't think they would sue him over that. Bardlock Moses says, so many of these symbols can be found in the National Hockey League. Hell, they have a team called the Devils. Killjoy102 says, Twitch plays Pokemon, secret satanic pedos confirmed, praise Helix. I remember that. Chaotic Star Whale, thanks for resubscribing with 3 months. Chaotic Star Whale with 100 bits says, God is satanic because he made the Milky Way in the shape of a spiral. Jubinator, with thank you for resubscribing with 6 months, says 6 seems fishy. Bardlock Moses says, you have to be a party level 20s to kill a god. Pyromancer says, cool stuff, looks cool. Do Satanists operate on 666 nanometers? I don't know what that means. Hoi Polloi, thanks for the 100 bits, says Kitty Bits, not that fragile, says Lupine, I have an important question. Are you Hannah's cat or is Hannah your human? Definitely the latter. Wagroad says, at this point I'd appreciate him publishing a list of colors and shapes that aren't satanic. Would be easier, you'd think, huh?
Patriot Act and government overreach and that sort of thing.
The school of Michael Moore.
To stop it. Yeah, I mean, I was a big Michael Moore fan back in the day. I'm not so much a fan these days, but
gotcha.
Yeah, he's had some really bad takes on Twitter lately.
Yeah, he had one recently about, was he the one piling on about like Texas? Didn't he say like don't give Texas the vaccine if they're just going to reopen? It's like, dude, fucking 45% of the country voted, or 45% of Texas voted blue in 2020. Like, who do you?
And even if they didn't, they shouldn't die. I don't think they should get the death penalty for not voting for your party. That's the
yeah, Lupine is elsewhere in the home. I will send you a picture once I'm done though, Baha. All right, thanks everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Chat is very valid. I'll be back tomorrow for probably a whatever Wednesday stream, so we'll just be bouncing all over to separate topics. It'll be a good time, so I'll see you guys there if you can make it. Bye, everyone.
Executive orders was raising the amount of refugees we allowed into the country from, I think it was down